Wow.
Good.
Fancy.
It'll do a better job.
Apparently you're muted, Gary.
You're not?
I can hear him.
What?
I can hear him.
What?
The stream says you're muted on YouTube.
Well, the chat does lie
No.
from time to
That's a
time.
lot of.
Maybe Garrett has everyone muted.
No, we're all here.
Uh
God damn it!
oh.
If only.
It was Garrett.
Everything
That
except
was a
for
really
that.
awkward pause.
It was
If only you
Garrett.
hired somebody.
Ollie. Hi everyone.
I don't know if that's the right.
Hello.
I don't know if that's the right
That's
one.
correct. That's correct.
Is it? Are you sure?
Yes.
Is chat sure?
Wee.
See, the thing is, Rumble. It was perfectly fine for Rumble.
No, but it wasn't perfectly fine on our on the thing we're actually streaming through, and that's really hot right there. So, how's it sound, chat?
Wee.
How are we? We're back.
Yes, we are still
Tick,
like
tick.
this.
Ooh, okay,
and
Rumble
See,
can
Rumble,
hear.
I told you.
Rumble can hear us.
Rumble,
Rumble
got us.
can hear us. Can YouTube hear us?
YouTube can now. Yes.
YouTube,
Yes.
Earth to YouTube.
Does it sound okay?
Thank you, YouTube.
Now on 3, let's redo the intro.
No.
Wee. 1, 2, 3.
Jeremy
Garrett,
Forgive.
So Garrett, how's that black job going?
Yeah.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Is that what a BJ is?
You get 99 things correct, and you miss
A
that one
migrant
thing. You know,
is going to
Just
take your
happens.
quarter black job.
Yeah, maybe in another 3 years he'll work it out. So-
I'll figure it out eventually.
Don't worry, Chuck. Gary was just talking about the 10 types of hepatitis he caught from the con.
No,
so-
I was talking
Yeah.
about Jeremy is on assignment. He took his seatless unicycle down to Mar-a-Lago to single-handedly defend former President Donald Trump. He'll be back next week. So there he is.
Is it just
Welcome.
because he didn't want to watch Rebel Moon? Is that why?
Pretty much.
It's very convenient.
God, you guys are whining about that, and I
They have every right to
Come
lie
on.
about
That movie never ended. It's still
Batman
going.
no
Batman-
regrets.
Batman Cape Crusader released 10 episodes of a whole series. It's still a shorter runtime than Rebel Moon, the first part.
It was. I only got through 7 episodes of Batman. I had to
Oh,
stop
that was
at a
rough.
certain point. That was really rough. It's bad, and we will talk about woke Batman. Batman the Intersectional Series. We will also talk about Rebel Moon, the chalice of garbage, which is bigger, longer, and worse than the previous version, which I can't wait to talk about. And also, you know, the reason I picked Rebel Moon, guys, was because I didn't think there would be much to talk about this week, completely forgetting that there was this thing called Comic-Con, and it gave us a lot to talk about. So we'll talk, we'll chat about Robert Downey Jr., being Doctor Doom, and other things. Yeah.
I'm starting to realize that just with the modern day on the internet, there's always going to be something retarded or autistic happen during the week that
Yes.
just makes you want to question your
Well, that's just
existence.
Boogie.
Yeah, right.
Nothing
Like,
retarded. We still got some autism. It's like, oh, thank goodness.
Well, yeah, and that's not counting the moist, critical, Mr. Beast,
that's what I'm
boogie
talking about.
stuff. Yes.
Holy
That's
crap,
all
that's
going
all-
on.
Yeah.
Dude, drama YouTube has been non-stop. Every story has been overlapping the previous one. We had Nicholas Diorio on EFAP, and he's been saying no story gets completed to complete its cycle before someone else comes in and does something insane. Which is it's funny
True.
because for us, you know, it's movies and they can overlap each other. But we're on a more of a drought, I guess, now, or at least we should be. We must be if we're talking about fucking Rebel Moon.
Wow.
I feel
guess
like I'm
I'll
gonna lead like a
relate.
rebellion. I'm actually gonna be the rebel in Rebel Moon because I'm gonna make everybody watch Twisters next week, and Gary's gonna come ready to talk Rebel Moon Part 2, and we're all gonna talk about like a movie that might actually be some fun.
I'm going to see
Ooh.
Twisters.
I watched it.
Why have fun?
Does it twister your tipples?
Two of them.
2 of them. Well, yeah, there's twisters. There must be multiple tornadoes in this one.
Imagine trying to create a viral clip of you explaining your childhood trauma and everyone just laughs.
Well, because
Come
he's
on.
probably lying. So yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No
It's
one
all
believes
lies.
him.
He's not a good actor. That's one of his biggest problems.
I'm in so much pain. I'm in so much pain.
Yeah, it's kind of a problem. So you know everybody here. If we don't do the intros anymore, you all have names in the corners. And but we do have a guest. Mahler is back.
Hello.
Yay.
You know, putting that popcorn bucket in the opening was a bit of a low blow for me because everyone's going to ask me to sell that, and I'm prepared. I don't have such power to sell such things, though I kind of want to.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea.
You sure
If
you
we
want
can
him
figure it
all?
out.
People are going to do some really strange stuff with that if you.
What do you
Yeah.
think they do with our plushies?
They
They're
get to
gonna
do the
literally,
strange
like,
stuff. That's
Az did
their
it with-
business.
Was it us?
Yeah, I've just been turning all the plushies into flashlights.
There you go.
As one
Oh.
does.
Wow.
If people will pay for it, they can put their dick in it. I don't care.
Yeah,
It's America.
yeah, you're
America.
free.
Freedom.
Yeah.
You should be free to stick your dick.
Prostitution.
It's what a nation was founded on.
Exactly.
Prostitute.
This is about free. This is about the freedom to put your dick into whatever you want and not pay for it.
Without judgment.
Whatever FNT
And then,
merch
like-
you want.
They're
Run 'em
like,
ragged,
wait,
then you have to buy another
you
one.
can't put dicks in things that don't consent to those dicks. They're like, yes, write that in. You gotta write that in.
Plushies and popcorn buckets
Look,
cannot
look,
consent.
Yes.
I'm not on board with this. You pay for a blender as well, but you might not win it. So let's.
You can if you
Maybe
want.
that's why I look
you
angry.
shouldn't. It's just not
Maybe you-
advised.
Exactly. Maybe you shouldn't.
It's not
I
healthy.
feel like there's a
but-
key difference between a blender and a plushie.
Oh. Yeah.
And that's just Rebel Moon. The extended sex scene with the tentacles.
Oh, yeah, forgot about that. Oh
That-
man,
that was so necessary.
It was
It's for absolutely no reason. Like the
Rebel
whole
Moon.
thing where it's like, how do we get our crops to grow? Let's just all go out and bang, that'll work. I'm like, what?
That'll
Well,
encourage
that-
them.
for an
Make sure you
extended
bang
slow-mo
tonight.
sex scene.
Did you get? Because I've seen a portion of the second part. There's another sex scene, and it's about 4 minutes long.
Oh my god!
You know how
Good
long 4
lord!
minutes is?
Mahler,
That's
this is
3 minutes too long.
That's necessary for the story. Okay,
Yes.
so this
yes,
is
it
this is Zack Snyder's original vision from his previous original vision that he
Yes,
fully intended to do by making a fake Snyder cut from his horrible director's cut or from his horrible regular cut, theatrical cut. What are we calling it? The Netflix cut?
I don't.
Let's
Original
call it the
it's
director's cut.
Director's cut, I believe.
But
right?
he
Original and
directed and
director's
cut the
thing.
last
There's
one.
original and director's cut.
It's,
And the thing is,
whatever,
it's,
man.
It's not just minor changes. Some things are in entirely different places in different time periods than they were in the like different halves of the movie. Like pulling the ship out. It's like, so did you just deliberately put it in a place
Yeah.
you knew it didn't work the first time,
Yes.
so you could correct it the second time?
But then
Correct
there's
it,
big
though?
chunks that are not different at all. Like that really required context and some changes, and they were just there. A little longer. You know what I really enjoyed? The longer exposition. That was my favorite part.
Yeah.
Oh,
As
good
someone who didn't
God,
watch-
the exposition is fucking horrific in
It's
this.
horrific.
As someone who ignored your instructions when you asked us to watch the first one because I got like 40 minutes in and couldn't watch anymore, like I don't know like any of the things that were different or could be different other than like the one fight scene from the beginning. Like there's actually blood and shit like that. But to me, the biggest, there's a lot of problems with the movie, but the biggest problem is that it's not like a whole fucking story. It's just going along, collecting these pieces, getting a 15-minute exposition about what their life is from the person themselves, learning about them, and collecting this team, have a little scuffle, but no resolution at all. It's like trying to make Empire Strikes Back to end like when you know there's like going to be a bunch of stuff that still needs to play out before we get anything else. And I just don't think that's the best way to kind of start off your cinematic universe.
The difference
Before,
is this was 15 minutes per character, and the first movie was just 5 minutes per character. So that was like that's the difference.
Is this just his
we
way
go to
of
the story, I
doing-
was going to say, if you could pull up this image, I was going to say there's a key difference you'll find throughout the film. The violence has been cranked up, but there's a suspicion that it's not actually simply the director's cut versus the original. It's actually, again, if you are able to show it, it's more the American version versus the British version, I would say.
Yes, very British indeed.
And I find that
What's the point of that change?
It's his true vision.
You know, less
because he
teeth
gets
is
all of
more
his teeth
artistic.
back. in part 2 anyway. You
Did
know?
they do the collecting of the teeth thing in the first one?
No.
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 That's probably
No.
why they did that.
I,
Then,
I
you
don't
know?
think we even saw those characters for most of the first one, except when they revived him at the end.
Yeah, they were
Like,
around, but like, it's so funny to see the full context. Like, you needed to know that they pull people's teeth out and put that in their teeth collection. You're like, okie dokie.
Yeah, like
Zach.
every person he kills, he like plucks his teeth out and put it in this big thing
Puts
to
it
make
in
this
this-
painting.
Yeah, this mosaic thing, whatever
Why
the hell
kill
it
them?
is.
Just
Which
take
is-
a tooth.
Which is like,
Well,
okay, if
it's fun to
this was
kill
in
people. What are you talking
Warhammer, if this was in Warhammer, that would be like, ooh, it's like they're taking people's teeth out and it's kind of cool, but there's no substance to anything in any of these movies. It's all just visual, like, oh, what if there was some priest guys that pull teeth out? Oh, right? That's cool, right?
Yeah, you
It's
sort of
also
just
a really-
But like, why?
Alright.
It's also a really bad strategy. If you want to go around the universe and conquer everybody, those people like still need to exist. You can't just completely wipe out every single planet and then just rule a barren wasteland. That's not how anyone has done anything in history. So I think they're trying to go for colonization bad, but everyone is so over the top cartoon villainish that it just comes across as
Yeah.
farcical.
I think they're killing a bunch. Aren't they using the bodies of all the dead people to power their ships?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Which
yeah,
wasn't
wasn't even in the
explained.
first movie.
So
No,
that
well,
first one.
They were
it was
coal-powered.
reduced. Yeah, it was reduced down in the first one because it's not R-rated. I guess they couldn't show skeletons. Show like really?
Yeah, but they could have
That
talked about it without showing the corpses. They could have been
That's
like,
true.
well, our
Well,
ship
you could
is
also
powered
just
by the
show
human corpses.
individual bones, rib bones, whatever have you. You don't need to like if you really can't show a skull, which I don't believe, by the way. This
Mhm.
skull's
Neither
not
do
way.
I.
So-
That
No
seems
way.
Yeah.
weird.
So they made it
Um,
look like coal in the first movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what everyone was making jokes about. Is that the ship was powered by coal?
And it also entirely changes that scene, because in the first movie I was like, why is she killing these people? They're just shoveling coal into furnaces, and she just randomly slaughters all of them. But
Yeah.
it does make sense when now they're actually complicit in shoveling humans into fire.
This is the one improvement. Like, it is a ship powered by a captured god that you had to feed the bodies of the slain to. And the captured god is captured against their will, so they're not just down with this.
Also, not only is it because I kind of agree with you, that is an improvement, but surely that is a mark against whoever edited the standard version.
Well, I
Yes,
think he
because-
edited the first one.
Well, that's the thing. Why couldn't you have included that was how this worked in the standard version? Because everybody thought he was powering the ship with coal. I don't know how.
Did
they have an answer.
Did they say organic material?
No, they
Nope.
just showed you coal.
No, they just showed you coal. So I have an answer for you. This is all bullshit. This is a slap in the face to fucking Snydercut fans. This is all a fucking. It's all planned. It was like, we're gonna keep certain things out. Say it was PG-13. Just deliberate. There's nothing real about any of this shit. It was just they were trying to repeat the success of the Snyder Cut and get some kind of fan movement behind it. And they thought it's like going out and like, I'm gonna make a viral video today. You can't do that shit. And they tried to do it and they absolutely failed, so much so that this thing is a fart in the wind. It landed on Netflix last night and you guys were talking about same thing for me. I go to my Netflix homepage. It's nowhere to be found. It's nowhere to be found. You have to search it specifically. And then for me, Ryan, as well, part 2 came up first.
I've seen it
Same.
noted
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
Netflix haven't done much of a job at all at marketing this release. They don't seem
No.
to care about it. We can speculate as to exactly why that is. I would obviously assume that they've realized they fucked up when they gave Zach all this money and power, and they were like, "Fuck, we need to like flush this at this point." Or it's just that they thought, "No, we should push the standard versions. To who cares about the extended versions?" But that doesn't really make sense. When they brought him on to make Rebel Moon, there was a huge marketing campaign of like the Zack Snyder cut man, Vision Bro. He's making films
Vision
for us."
Bro.
And
Yeah, like it was Netflix definitely like Netflix wanted to try to recapture the virality of the Snyder stuff. Right. So that they hire him, they specifically tell him, hey, we want you to do your fucking all out movie, but we also want you to make one that can be like PG-13 rated and give him a fuck ton of money. They probably poured in a ton of marketing, like you said, to the first one. They probably didn't get the results they were hoping for with the first one. And they realized we're not going to sit there and dump a bunch of money to a PR movie that we've already kind of marketed that wasn't received all that great for one that's probably not going to be watched by as many people anyway. That's my guess as to why we haven't seen nearly the push. I was just surprised that it wasn't at least on like the recommended today, thing.
Yeah, it was
first
nowhere.
popping in Netflix.
let's be honest though, like what a fail in terms of search or SEO sort of thing, right? It's like you need to be searching for not Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire, but Rebel Moon Part 1, The Chalice of Blood.
Blood.
That's what's called, right?
Yeah.
Which is not even what they
Which-
say in the movie. They call it
what?
the Chalice of something else.
Why wouldn't you have called it A Child of Fire Extended? Now it's just like fucking confusing.
Yeah.
Even on Netflix, it's called Part 1 Director's Cut. Like the whole Chalice of Blood thing isn't even on the Netflix page. It's weird.
It was on mine.
Oh, it wasn't when I was watching it because I thought it was weird. And the thumbnails, like everyone knows YouTube thumbnails, they get shrunk down so you can barely see what they are. So you've got to be sort of big, easily readable. I had to like literally kind of squint at the thumbnails to see the director's cut bit on it. It's almost the same thing. So finding this whole thing was a disaster. And I also think if they really wanted to be successful, you're not going to drop both parts on the same day. No one's going to sit there for 6 hours of this all in the same time.
Originally, it was supposed to be separated again. Like they were supposed to separate it by a couple of months. That's what I heard.
Imagine if they gave a new creator that has like a new vision, possibly made something on their own that was good, an indie movie or something, and they gave them something to do instead of Zack Snyder.
Snyder. I was actually going to say as well, on top of everything else, the subtitle "The Curse of Forgiveness" has to be one of the most edgy things I've ever seen in my life. The Curse of Forgiveness, really, Zach.
That sounds like a rom-com.
You could feel the eyeshadow going on as you're saying it.
And this thing is a badly put together intersectional nightmare. Having to watch certain scenes over again, including her stop. For one, we got some context with the skinny, like effeminate boy from the beginning who like completely gets forgotten. That's the whole opening scene. Yeah,
Gary, he has the exact same story as everyone else. Everyone's got the same fucking backstory.
Yes, they all got the same backstory. By the
Everyone's
way,
parents and family are dead.
Yep.
The evil
the same
people
way.
came, killed my whole family, and now I want to get revenge. That is the story for everyone, 1-to-1. It's insane.
They're all Batman.
I did like it as retarded as some things in like the intro, like 20 minutes were like over the top cartoonish. I did prefer the intro for this over the intro for the original, which takes forever to get into anything. This one at least like establishes, hey, these guys are fucking mega evil. This is what they're doing across the galaxy. This is how they're treating people. And like this is like why they should be like stood up to, right?
Ed Skrein needs to fire his agent because he's a good bad guy. He was good as Dario Naharis and then left after one season. He's just got to pick better roles.
Francis and Deadpool, he's good bad guy in that movie too.
Yeah, I like him in that.
Yeah.
I was okay with the intro, basically, until they started talking. And then I very quickly found myself going, is this still going on? Like, how many times do you have to
even ever
rephrase,
watch and I'm looking at it.
evil and you're all going to die.
So he looks at the little goblin and he's like, they want to kill her.
They want to hurt her. I wish it was me.
Where that was going.
And Goblin goes, googity goobity.
I thought the goblin was going to Hulk out. I thought it was
I did too. I was like, please.
Which would have been better. Like, what on earth has to happen to your species that you evolve just exploding? Like, that's how you end up surviving and passing on your genes. It's just spontaneously combusting.
Also, he's like, I got to get my gremlin grenade out there, and then I'm just going to surrender. It's like, that was the plan? Just why not just not blow up the gremlin?
And then he's all, I'm so sorry I'm sending you to blow up little gremlin, which was obviously the only thing you were meant to do in life.
Like, if you
this is everyone
too hard,
watching the
does that
movie.
happen?
Yeah, I know, exactly.
It's designed to just.
That's how they found out.
Nuclear,
Oh my god.
He's so cute.
There was also the
Never
bit with
finish.
the bit with him on the stairs in front where I couldn't understand why they didn't just shoot him. He didn't have a gun, and they keep running at him when they have
all
guns.
had guns,
And he's
and
like
they kept
killing
running.
12 of them at a time, and then some of them occasionally will just randomly take a pot shot in the air near him or something. You're like, okay, is he supposed to be captured alive or dead, or do you not care? And I had no idea what was happening.
That scene made me so upset. That scene where they like. Is it okay if I spoil it? I mean, I don't know. They make
you
the
can
son,
spoil it. It's already been out, by the way.
They make the son bash in the head of the dad, and I really like. I don't know if it's being a mom, but like I started crying. I was like crying so much. I was like, I don't know. I'm gonna watch the rest of this. And then the baby got upset, and I had to like he. Anytime the TV's on, he keeps turning his head to like look at the TV, and I'm like, no, Frankie, no, don't look. fuck?
His first, your child's first memory is going to be of a Zack Snyder movie.
You're welcome.
I will agree with Ryan. Like, I did like the opening. I like the idea of this evil beast fuckers coming in and making him choose between his whole family dying or just his father, and then doing that. Like, that's fucked up.
Killing the family who I love.
Anyways, yeah, it's a good origin. But if it wasn't every other person's origin,
every repeated origin.
Okay, wait. As well, I get plenty of criticism for this dumbass scene. Okay, so you have the whole family together, being all like, "Oh, geez, oh god," they're crying. We as an audience member recognize very easily, it's like, "Oh, this is horrifying." They're all clearly fan. Blah blah. Zach has it cut to a flashback where they're all happy together.
I know. Oh my god.
What the hell?
Oh, dude. And then, like, how long it took him to it was supposed to be dramatic. I understand that, but how long it took him to actually bash that in after the flashback is the longest drawn out fucking scene. It's like, you know, he's gonna get his head bashed in. Yeah, just bash it. Get us through this, please, for the love of Christ. But no, the unnecessary slow motion. Now, I might have just forgotten stuff that they put in the first one because I wanted to. My brain is trying to defend me. But there's so many scenes that are people falling down in slow motion, dropping grain in slow motion. Can I just point out
dropping grain? That was in the first one.
That was in the first one. Can I just point out, like,
decided to keep that in the edit. You know?
They fixed the coal, whatever the fuck it was, with the bones, and we were like, okay, that's better. So now you have an opportunity to fix the grain. Like, they're there for something else. They're there for some kind of fuel. They're there for something else. No, still about the fucking grain. That's what this movie's about.
Yeah. And it's just like the first stuff. And I watched Random Film Talk break it down. It's very clear in both versions. He says, you know, hey, maybe you could help us find the rebels because we know they've been operating in this area. And you're like, okay, good. And then he's like, also our ship, we're desperately in need of food and local villages. And you're like, oh.
Damn it!
They really love their
and then fucking MODOK ruins everything in both versions. He just outright lies when he's so provably a liar, and it just fucks over everything.
All she said to them, well, she gave them exact instructions and just said, "Don't make a big deal about how fertile the ground is." And he literally could have said they sold the grain to Santa Claus or anything else. He didn't have to say, "Oh yeah, we sold it to your enemies." And that would have solved every problem. Instead, he's like, "No, we're starving here. We can barely eat."
Just fucking cooperate and give them a lower number than what you can actually produce. That's all you got to do.
Right.
Yes.
But no, I think the film wants us to think that MODOK is like, no, on principle, I will not support them. It's like, okay, so all of you die then. That's the logic you're going with, I guess. And it's so funny because he clearly hates, what's his name, Gunnar, for talking. You have to call him Gunnar, okay? Anthony Hopkins calls him Gunnar at one point, and I think the second one I can't.
Yeah, he's a Gunnar.
He is a Gunnar.
Yeah,
he is a Gunnar.
And and he's like, oh, you know, could anyone explain to me how the fuck it could be possible that you're on such fertile land but have no resources? And Gunnar's like, yeah, okay, well, and he comes up with a sort of feasible lie. He's like, we do have surplus, but what the surplus he's talking about is more so for us in case anything goes wrong. It's like, oh, yeah, okay. And then the Noble is like, so there's lies afoot. Somebody here is fucking with me.
The dialogue gets just noticeably worse. And a lot of this is just from the last version, especially Sophia Buletti, whatever her last name. The star of this show is fucking terrible as an actress. Yeah. And
we got to see her boobs, so.
Okay.
So everything's forgiven for Ryan.
So that sex scene. Well, listen, there's blood and there's boobs. Good. Okay, that's fine. That's great. There's also really long, extended exhibition scenes.
There's a lot of time between every exhibition.
Yeah. So
very sexual.
So the sex scene comes on because, dude, I'm watching this on my fucking phone at the gym for the first part, and the sex scene comes on.
I'm watching it on the massive screen.
Oh my god,
the
Gary.
sex scene comes on at the gym, right? So I'm like hitting the 10-second forward, and like,
you're doing that for like 5 minutes. Yeah. 10-second forward. It's still going. Okay, all right.
It's still going. There's boobs all over the place.
Every scene is that way. Every scene is a little bit longer. Just
we're fans of itty bitty titties. We are. We're fans of all kinds. But the thing is, she can't act. She's not. She's not a lead actress, and her exposition reads like she's just doing a slight variation of the character bio that was pitched to the producers. Like I was, I am a child of war. I was torn from my family by the evil empire that killed my family. And
to love and be loved.
To love, to be loved. And now I am
can do
hated.
that.
I am an instrument of disaster and fire. And I am, and I become French. I am 5'3" years. I am 5'3" inches tall, and I can kill 300-pound men with great ease. And by the way, have an opportunity in their exhibition, whatever the fuck, to give her some super soldier exposition, whatever. Words.
It was exhibition.
Well, I think exhibition fitted. Like,
yes,
I was like,
it did. It did. Give her some super soldier serum, something. Because in both fights, when you watch them again, there's guys who like they're like a foot behind her head, and they go. Boo!
They almost go like,
yeah, it's like, what the hell?
This was an opportunity for Zack Snyder to prove everyone wrong. Release a shitty version, and then come out with a 3-hour epic where all the plot makes sense, and it's not exactly the same thing, but that's what he did. He just did the exact same thing, just like went.
If he's the one that edited the original, though, it just makes him look like he was retarded on the first run.
There are times where. There are times where he tried to fix it, like the robot that just used to appear and then randomly kill people. But he fixed it with what I'm assuming is a pickup scene, where she just comes along, puts like a crown on his face, and then he's like, "Oh, you've got 5 minutes. Let me tell you my entire backstory."
Exactly.
No reason.
No. My favorite part was the exposition to the Scarecrow.
Oh my god, dude, that comes right after the exposition scene with her at the campfire with the guy. And what all movies do when two characters are like, oh, what's your backstory? They'll usually give you something, and then they'll be like, I don't want to talk about the rest, like reserved. She fucking talks for like 10 hours.
Yes,
she gives the entire stuff. And by the end of it, it's just like, okay.
Is the robot actually important in the second part?
The thing
she
is,
does it again in the second part. I don't know if you guys remember. She
yes,
she gives him the other half of the story where after they have sex, she explains that she killed a child.
Yep.
And he's like,
fire?
So you don't want to explain that before sex.
So the robot,
well, maybe during.
Anthony Robotikins was set up not very well in the first one. That wasn't the director's cut. And then doesn't really do shit in the second movie, except for come in as Deus Ex Anthony Robotikins to kill some soldiers to help Space Antifa. That's pretty much it. I haven't seen part 2 yet, so they're probably going to add more. But yeah,
it's the same.
It's the same. It's the same.
No, well, the difference. So in the first one, Anthony Robotikis, he shoots the captain of the racist guards, right? And then he runs off into the night. Then you never see him again until the credits. And then the credits, he's like standing there with a bunch of antlers and shit, and you're like, what the fuck?
What the?
So,
I know.
In this one, they just randomly drop in more like
where he's
exposition
like hunts for them and stuff.
Introspective scenes where he's just talking.
He's like, yes, the silent wind of the hills, and you're like, what?
My favorite bit is where they all dragged out the ship, and they literally drag it like 15 meters, and then they're like, "Way, we've done it!" I'm like, "What was even the point of that?" And then, I can't fix it anyway.
Every scene ends with like, I feel like the writer going, "That was good.
That was good.
Damn, I am a good writer."
No, that's Zack Snyder. That's Zack Snyder in that editing room. Going, man, 45-minute now I can't even say it. Exhibition scenes. Exposition scenes.
His staff, Admiral Noble. I remember when Rags was watching, he was like, is that a bone that he's using? Is that some kind of, like, what is that?
Yeah,
and,
the staff. Yeah.
Well, what's funny in this version is they have a whole moment where he's like, my staff is made of the femur of the sacred Lochna. And you just sit there like, what does that mean? Okay. And I'm like, oh, good, we got that. I guess he felt that. This is so interesting to look back on because like, Zach probably thought, yeah, I can cut that. Like, it's not telling anyone anything.
No. So it's a lot. It's just bloodier with more boobs and dumber. And yeah, the only thing they add is the space god that powers the ship. That opens up the space vaginas, which Disparu just mentioned earlier. We saw that scene in the beginning, and they put that scene at the very end, and they show a priest go up to the space god and like turn something on her head, and then she opens up the space vagina after her eyes roll up in her head like she's having a fucking orgasm.
Yeah. Just like in real life.
And then
she's really unimpressed. Like,
and then like a girl, every time she has sex with Ryan, she cries. So.
Wow.
It's because it hurts.
There you go.
Not because she's disappointed.
Cries because it's so good.
That's
right.
Yeah.
But yes, that's it. And it's all what Ryan said. It is just collecting characters with very similar backstories, with just some more, like when they got Turok and his hippogriff, which is the same thing. He bows in front of the griffin, which is
a 1-to-1.
They just show the hippogriff, like the guy who captured the hippogriff, like they show it rip him in half and fly off into the sunset with his blood dripping. But nothing really adds to the story, like at all. It is just.
And some of it they add for absolutely no reason. Like when they go to Space Antifa, they go, "We need you to join us." They're like, "Well, we can't do that because we'll all die because we can't take on a capital ship." And then a brother just goes, "I'll go along with you." It's like, wait, what? Like all of you can't defeat it, but you one will. So then they all get back in their ship where they were ambushed last time.
Her brother. I thought you said a brother, just referring to a black.
It was a brother.
They all get back in the
there.
ship where they get ambushed to fly to a different place that looks exactly the same as the one they've just left, just so they can get ambushed in a different location this time. Like some of it is just pure time wasting, even though it's the extended edition.
Yeah, and to me, like I didn't think that there was enough. Like, what was Charlie Hunnam's character? Kai, was that his name?
Yeah.
I didn't feel like there was enough with him. I didn't feel like we got enough time with him or like understanding him to feel actually betrayed by his betrayal.
No,
if that makes any sense.
Which is wild because this movie is 3 hours long.
Well,
I know, it's insane. In the first scene, he basically just says, "I'm an opportunist. What can you pay me?" They're like, "Not much at all." He's like, "All right." So
what? It made more obvious
out of
that
this?
they didn't trust him in this one compared to the first one.
In the Rebel Moon guide that Netflix offered for characterization back Christmas time when this came out, PDF version, I'm guessing Charlie Hunnam's character is his parents were killed by the Empire.
He says
that. He said that.
And he wants to get revenge. And he's just the other end of that because he's a white guy. That's pretty much
It's not that he wanted to get revenge. It's like, they murdered my entire family in front of me. And like, he does all this shit. And he's like, and I realized then,
yes,
you don't pick the losing side. Or something.
Yeah, don't be on the wrong side of history.
The wrong side of history, yeah.
He's the Black Pillar. That's it.
He would probably be me.
So they have one character with a different story, and it's the same story. He just decided to join the bad guys, which is essentially what a lot of them do anyway.
Because he's a white guy.
Main character and the main guy, the fucking weedy kid, like both of them joined after their families were killed, and then rebelled. So I don't know, like it's all so basic as shit. Because I was gonna say, right, you got the boobs, you got the gore, you've also got excessive swear words, and not just swear words, but for lack of a better term, just the kind of shit that they cut out because it was too adult, right? But for example, you got the soldiers. They're having some water when they've arrived on Grain Planet, but they're really mean. They're mean soldiers. How do we make sure to show them they're mean? Well, one of them grabs the water and drinks it like a retard, fucking dribbling it all over himself. It's like, yeah, because that's what you do when you're a bad person. You can't drink properly. And then the other one says, "That's how I like them. Young, strong enough to put up a fight. Love the taste of blood in my mouth when fucking." It's just like, what?
Very romantic.
I thought he meant it like he just likes to eat women out when they're on their periods.
Oh.
I misinterpreted that.
And you know what? Somehow that's the nicer thing. See, Ryan was more wholesome.
That
than what Zach was going for.
I also, speaking of those two soldiers, Zack Snyder, master editor, little pet peeve here. Earlier in this dog shit, Ed Screen says, "Hey, we'll be back to get the grain, the really important grain, in 10 weeks." About 5 minutes later, two soldiers go, "I wonder how long we're going to be out this place." And it's like, I don't know, maybe 10 weeks, like your boss just said right in fucking front of you.
He just said 10 weeks.
Well, those characters, because they do the raping later, and it's
Yes.
like, how much did Zach actually? Can you imagine what's on the cutting floor, considering this shit got in? Because cutting that retarded line, I could totally be in the room and be like, "Yeah, it makes sense to cut that. It was cringe." He's like, "No, I'm saving it for the R-rated one." It's like, okay, all right.
He
That's the
needs,
good stuff.
It seems like he's just got a lot of yes people around him. Like somebody in the chat made a good comment. Like he needs people to tell him no, And
well, he has a whole ass Yes company around him this time. This
Yeah.
is Yes, just everything.
Yeah,
And,
I mean, like
it's going to cost him this one. This was his chance to make something great.
Yep.
Netflix brought him to do his stuff, like, period. Bottom line, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So, like, they weren't going to bring, and to be honest, I don't think that Zach works particularly well when asked to create something that, like, isn't his. And you can have your opinions whether it ever works good, whether he wants to create anything of his or not. But if you're going to do it, you might as well let him do his thing. I think this is a big, probably warning sign for Netflix of, like, we completely miscalculated on the amount of demand there would be for this thing, which is probably why we didn't get any of this other stuff.
What was that?
Are they going to do sequels then? Like if
they want to. They want to do comics, animated shows, fucking merch up the wazoo, all kinds of movies, cinematic universe. Yeah, they're trying to force this. But the thing is, he already did this. He tried to fucking force start Army of the Dead as a universe. Nobody cared. They made a TV show prequel. Nobody cared. It's supposed to be tied into the universe to Rebel Moon. Nobody cares.
What's the next thing? It's like some animated Norse mythology thing, right? That's like the next Zack Snyder project coming.
Yeah, was it? God, I forgot what it was. Was it? It's not Beowulf. Is it?
The voice acting cast looks incredible.
What was it?
Who's in that?
It's some fucking Norse mythology thing.
Yeah,
but I don't know what it's called.
Whatever it was.
Twilight of the Gods.
Twilight of the Gods, something like that. Yeah. So we are seeing the results. Don't even say it. We are seeing the results of the spending spree at the beginning of the streaming wars, where people gave $250 million to Jar Jar Abrams, and the only thing he produced was the next thing we're going to talk about, woke Batman, and gave Zack Snyder all this money because everybody was getting it, and you see what happens, and you see who's like a good creator and who isn't. At least Zack tried to do something. Jar Jar took that money and made nothing. He made one he conceived a very expensive HBO show that they nixed because it was going to cost $200 million and hasn't done anything. So we're seeing the result of that and all the holdovers, and I wouldn't expect to see any more Rebel Moon. I think that would be insane.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm thinking. I'm wondering if they're just going to axe the entire project now.
I feel like you might get one more, but the budget will be slashed. It'll go unnoticed, and that'll be it.
Well, if they do, I hope
the story's not over.
If they do, I hope Netflix impose their camera requirements, because they have very strict rules about what you're allowed to show, what camera has to be filmed on, and all the quality levels. And in this, I forgot how blurry it all was.
Oh,
like this movie is made by like
blurrier.
An edgy 15-year-old with an astigmatism. You can pause this movie on any frame; it's out of focus all the time. It comes across as it's really badly made.
It is ugly. Like, it is gross to watch these movies. The same with Army of the Dead. They're one of the most unpleasant visual experiences I've had. And it's funny because he's often celebrated for his eye, so to speak. But I made this point, I think, on a prior FNT as well. He's the cinematographer now. He didn't used to be. On all the movies you think he had a good eye on, he was not the cinematographer.
But he is now. And watching a Zack Snyder film now is like me walking around without my glasses on. That's pretty much what it looks like. He got that down. So there's that aesthetic. I don't know what else to say. The main character, the 5'3", Sophia, whatever her last name is, beats the shit out of the rapers again, but it's just bloodier. So you see heads exploding, guys missing when they're like firing at her point blank range for some reason. And yeah, she just girl bosses the hell out of that scene. And then they get saved by Anthony Robotkins, and then he runs away, but there's a little more context to it. And then it's just the same damn movie with a little longer scenes of exposition. And it ends the same way with fucking space Antifa. And I should have had that more set up.
The screaming.
Oh yeah,
the same exact take. I was
so glad that stayed in. Yeah.
I wanted a longer one.
Extended cut. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, in the original cut, was there a black orc? I don't remember that guy.
No, they've added those in.
That's completely added into this one and meant
black
nothing.
orc's better.
What are they called? Like Hatchwells or something?
Sure.
It's actually, this is an addition that made it worse. So something that annoyed us over at EFAP in the second one was how obviously their outpost had been destroyed. Because remember, they're talking to that one guy continuously on the phone, and it's only until the second movie that they say, we never see anyone else. That's kind of weird. He's like, oh yeah, they're busy doing their thing. That's what they do. And we thought to ourselves, like, how is it not obvious that he's betrayed you? And then in that scene, Noble says, so he's betrayed us. And it's like, oh, okay, there he goes. I can appreciate that. In this version, they only find out they've betrayed them because those gremlin people are keeping an eye on them. He says, like, the guys on the planet have notified us that they've actually betrayed us. I was like, oh, you made him, that makes him stupider. And then on top of that, Anthony Robotkins knows about those guys really early on. He spots them early on in the story. He doesn't tell anyone.
There's a few there's a few random extra bits, like extra characters out of nowhere. Like after the brothel scene, where it zooms in on that random person in sort of like cyber gear. I swear that wasn't in the first movie, because I'm sitting there thinking, who on earth are you? It never explains anything. It just like as if they're important and then cuts away. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, they added some scenes to the bar that meant nothing, that added nothing. Most of it adds absolutely nothing.
Is there that fat dude that wants to fuck Gunner in the first one?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a gay bar.
Dude, Gunner's so lame. When a guy grabs your balls, you don't just go, oh no.
You're not supposed to let him.
Yeah.
He's a pussy. He's a coward.
You have to let the girl be like, hey, don't grab my guy's balls.
That's my guy's balls.
Well, I don't mean to brag, but I did get a little bit of an exclusive interview.
Full screen that?
Full screen that, babe. Here we go.
Oh my God.
Good. Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous.
Make sure you unmute it. Yeah.
I'm so happy to have you here, Zach. Thank you so much for being here. Now, why a director's cut? Usually when there's a director's cut, it's because the studio interfered. Who made the movie?
I made the movie.
Some people have said that this is a ripoff of Star Wars. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay. So how does the technology compare? Specifically, the laser swords versus the lightsabers. How does that work in this universe? How do the spaceships work?
Because it's science fantasy, it has that. We don't really have any. There's no real hard science in it. It's like, how do the spaceships work? I don't care.
So why do people need to watch this version?
There's a lot of sex and a lot of violence and a lot of sci-fi fantasy. So it really, really heavy metals itself.
Were there any limitations on sex?
There's a lot of sex in it.
Violence, or even the editing, so that this didn't have to be 3.5+ hours.
So we try not to police ourselves too much. There's a lot of sex in it.
I'm just curious, based on your answers, is this film a reflection of your own sexual proclivities?
Yep.
Zach, how would you define your own sex life?
Way more brutal. It's way more, but it's also more bizarre. It's just more, it's more Verhoeven-esque, I guess, if you want to think about it.
Freeways?
Yep.
Hot tub wife swapping?
Yep.
Do you have a nickname for your penis?
Conan the Barbarian. Late 70s, early 80s.
80s?
Yep.
More than once?
Yep.
How are you able to perform with women that age?
I wasn't worried about it as much. And so we really, because then we just had to dig in and start doing it our way.
Well, there you have it, folks. Go watch the director's cut, I guess.
There's a lot of sex in it.
I get it.
Good job.
It was very exclusive. I didn't have a lot of his time, so I had to ask the important questions.
You did. You got some gotcha questions in there. Verhoeven-esque.
Conan the Barbarian.
So yeah, it's really bad. It's really long.
Yeah. And I don't think anyone's going to care about it, even right now. Even though we're talking about it as it released, people are like, "Hey, what?
Yeah, don't bother. It's just.
Did you do like the part with when she sliced open the spider, a bunch of baby spiders came out, and they looked sad,
and the little sad spider baby faces? Yeah, that's.
And I think that was meant to be like her helping, like at least your children will have a chance to survive after I've slaughtered the mother. I think that's what they were going for. It's like, well, I don't want to be mean.
After they clearly stated they can't survive on their own.
Well,
yeah, she said that they'll die, but they kept it the same as the original version. By the way, the only person who tries to help the child is Guna, and then later on she's like, it says a lot about you that you would just willingly help a child. She's like, it takes a person of a lot of like character to do that. He's like, yeah, a person like you. I was like, she didn't though.
She has a gun.
she had a gun and she didn't do anything.
No. And there's a whole part 2 out there that I'll probably watch, and then Mahler and I'll be the only ones talking about it at some point.
Thank God.
Part 2's shorter, right? It's not 3 hours.
How do we know? Well, I guess
2
it
hours,
is
right?
out. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think it's 2.5.
Ugh.
And
save that 30
he's
minutes.
just generally awful at doing almost anything. Because I was just saying, like conflict between characters. There was barely any interaction at all between any of them in the original version. In this one, you get a few extra lines here and there. One of them was, you only escaped your people about Turok because you must have been a coward. You must have ran away. And then Titus is like, well, he's not a coward now. And he can stand with us. And then he's like, you can barely stand because you're drunk. And then he's like, hey. I was watching it. I was like, what the fuck?
That is conflict.
That was some of Titus. Titus' extra lines were him saying, my only solace is this drink. We're like, yeah, we got it. We got it, Titus. And you cowards. Said it like 500 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Literally, the rest of the movie is everybody going, well, you're stupid to fight those. There's no point fighting those. You'll just die anyway. You have to be an idiot to fight those. And then the people that join are like, yeah, we're all idiots, but we don't mind if we die because we think it's worth it to fight them. So calling somebody a coward because they literally don't fight a battle they can't win is a very strange definition of it in the first place, when the rest of the universe agrees with them.
On that note of what Quarterblack was saying, I just wanted, because I did write it down because I thought it was so funny. They're not getting anything out of Titus, whatever, and until he gets really mad. And this is the dialogue. I'm pretty sure 1-to-1. What do you want from me? My men are dead. I'm tired of reliving every day. My rage made me a god in the Colosseum, but now it's all used up, and this bottle is the only true comfort in this hell. Now let me die in peace. It's such a wow.
Yeah.
I think the next
that actually
exposition.
rang very true with me in my heart. That's my life experience.
I think the better bit is the next bit where he's like, I'm never going to join you no matter what you say. He goes, yes, but have you considered revenge? And then he stands up like he's never thought about it before. It's like, that is a astonishing idea. I'm going to fight.
That's a great idea.
Which,
I've never considered revenge
woman
before.
has an idea.
Is that not even more funny after they recruited the edgy lady whose whole point was revenge bad, by the way?
Yes.
Shouldn't be things for revenge. And it's like they're all like nod their heads like yes. And the next they're like, we're recruiting a guy for revenge. The job done. What can I say?
But you heard the man. He says it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's science fantasy, so things don't matter. We're gonna heavy metal it, guys. We're gonna heavy metal.
That's what it is, right? When people go into science fantasy when they don't want to do things that matter. They're like, oh, that's the place for non-mattering things.
I find that notion offensive.
Yeah, there's no way that this is like a movie made by somebody that only leafed through heavy metal.
Exactly. Maybe
and
looked at the
never
covers.
read any of the stories.
I mean, leafed through them for the boobs. I mean, that's how I started
like,
reading heavy metal. To be honest with you, then I started reading it. So.
Because the Spider Lady reminded me as well. She says when they kill the Spider Lady, they're all like, "Oh, good job, amazing." She's like, "Don't be proud of this. This is horrible. Any of you could have been in her position." And I'm like, "No, I wouldn't be kidnapping children. What are you talking about?"
Yes.
She's like, "No, any of you could have been. That's why it's sad."
Hollywood logic.
Nemesis.
It's such fucking weird ass
Hollywood
dialogue.
morality.
Yeah.
No, the dialogue is awful. Absolutely awful. He should not write anything. He shouldn't be the cinematographer. Maybe a director on an adaptation, as Ryan was talking about, but maybe his best days are way behind him. Way behind him.
Well,
some may argue he never had them.
I think it's probably how he makes the movies. Like when he's talking about how he gets advice on the thing. First, he says I do a trusted group, which are his friends who have opinions that he likes. So they basically just agree with him. And then at the end, it goes, online feedback. I don't listen to that. That's a dark place. It's like, yep, they're your audience. They're the people you should be listening to, not your mates that'll tell you you're amazing. And he's just like in his own little hug box. Like that is the definition of an echo chamber. No wonder he keeps pumping out the same stuff.
And I'm feeling bad for the hanger-ons that are like, no, this is brilliant. It's like, oh, like because you've got so little to work with this one, especially with the confusion of the cuts and the way it's like promoted, and then all the extended stuff, and how nobody understands what the fuck is even going on. And there's so many memes. The line, kill her. That's still in part 2, by the way.
Kill her.
Kill her.
Such a great delivery.
Do they still complain that the general isn't drunk in the second half? That was my favorite bit of that one.
I haven't gotten to that bit yet. But...
Oh, yeah. They're all around a table, and he's like, "You need to do all the things. You've got all these problems." And then one of them goes, "Yeah, but you're not an alcoholic anymore." And that's like as if it's a big complaint for your military general that he doesn't drink enough.
There's an insecurity to his writing as well, because so much of it is very much like, do you get it, audience? Okay, let's move forward. Do you get it? It's not a particularly natural thing, but Guna mentions that they've been selling their surplus, and we're like, okay, and to the rebels, and the Devra Bloodaxe has been meeting with him, to blah, 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 which is already stupid. Like, the leader of the rebels is just meeting to get the deals done with some random farmer. It's like, she would obviously send someone if you have any level of security or safety, but they don't. We kind of get over that. You get all of that information while what's-her-name, main character's in the room, and then later on when they go to the actual saloon, on the way, and I don't think this line was in the original, at least I can't remember it, but it's like the insecurity of the writer. They're talking about the plan, and he says, he like repeats all of it to her to make sure that she understands. He's like, Devra, she's the leader of the Blood Axes, you know, the outlaw, the one that I sold the grain to. I mentioned it before.
Like, and she
she's
even like, yeah, I
the
get it. I think was that one supposed to be like funny? Like that's how I took that one.
I got the impression.
She's like, yeah, I fucking get it.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing, right? Like this film is not self-aware. I believe fully that that's in there just to be like, better make sure everyone understands what we're doing here. And it's like, of course, so little happens. Like we're following. I get it.
So little happens, and it will be forgotten. It's forgotten. It's already forgotten, ladies and gentlemen. It's gone. And this might be forgotten too. Our next subject. So there was a Batman show. Jar Jar Abrams is a producer who this is the destroyer of franchises. He's fucked up Star Trek beyond belief. He fucked up Star Wars, and he got a big deal from Warner Brothers. I was just talking about it earlier, $250 million for first right of refusal to pitch some products. And the only thing he managed to get made was a repurposed Batman the Animated Series, because we don't have writers and creators anymore. We have repurposers. And it was, and for anybody who like, bring George Lucas back, Bruce Timm is involved. One of the original creators of Batman the Animated Series. Paul Dini is not, as far as I know.
See, that's the problem. That's the problem. Bruce Timm, designer. Dini was the writer.
Yes.
He wrote the stories. The reason they were so great.
There's names like Ed Brubaker on this. There's also Jar Jar Abrams. And it's supposed to take place in the 30s, and it's supposed to be Golden Age Batman. And they have the Golden Age version of the villains. The thing is, though, and I think this is why Ryan will particularly like this show, is it's very diverse version of the 30s, extremely diverse. James Gordon, black. Barbara Gordon, black. Harley Quinn.
That's Barbara Gordon.
Dr. Quinzel, fat and Asian. Yeah.
Penguin.
Woman.
Penguin. Oswalda Cobblepot. So you saw that. And then
Eswalda Gobblecock.
Yeah.
Again, sex icon of Gotham.
Yeah, that was the weird part about it. Like, everyone was like, it's weird enough to make Penguin a woman, but then to pretend like all these dudes like really want her or into her when she's just a fucking disgusting mess.
What
man. The fuck? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
They robbed the gravitas that the character's supposed to have. Penguin is usually like, you know, you look at him and you're thrown off because he is ugly. And then he also has this menace to him, right? None of that is there with this. They're trying to make her charming. And it's like, you have destroyed any concept of what the Penguin's supposed to be with this interpretation.
I think this is a drag queen.
They could have played the attractiveness as if everybody in that room was petrified. And so they were just playing along. But they don't do that at all.
No, the animation is a bit flat. Oh, I'm not done, by the way. We got Renee Montoya is wider than she is tall. And she is, for the first part of this series, the main character. Batman is...
Not Batman.
Batman, the
I only
voice...
watched one episode.
The voice is fine. The look is fine. No complaints about the Batman.
I don't know
Batman.
I don't know who's voicing him, but when he was Bruce Wayne, like I was like looking away from the screen for a little bit the first time he spoke in his Bruce Wayne voice, and I thought it was Sterling Archer for a second. and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But it kind of morphed a little bit. But that was the first thing I heard when he was being Bruce Wayne. And he's obviously not being as serious as he is when he's Batman, when he's Bruce Wayne. He's pretending that he's like way more drunk than he is and like all this shit. But the first thing I thought when I heard that voice is that fucking Archer?
I know.
Would have been funny.
Well, and then there's Harvey Dent. So Harvey Dent is basically the misogynist, corrupt DA before he becomes Two-Face.
I'm down with that. I think it's an improvement of his character.
Well, I didn't know.
He's Two-Face. Harvey Dent is the good guy.
Kind of ruins
That's the whole point of the two faces. If both faces are bad, it's not
I didn't know the comics, so I didn't know whether he was supposed to be that or not. But it didn't make sense to me that you're a prick before you turn, and then your other face is also a prick. So now you're just one face. So
wait. They're clearly doing the whole he's a prick before, and then he gets splashed with acid or burned or whatever. And
that's the good
one.
Yeah, because then he gets suppressed.
Okay.
He's like, maybe we should be nice to people.
And the introduction to Harvey Dent's character was with Barbara Gordon, and she's like a Gen Z, like, I'm a feminist, I'm a working boss girl,
defense attorney. She's
acting like a cow to everyone. It's like, why would anyone like this person?
I love that Shad uses cow as an insult towards women. Like everyone thinks I fucking hate women, but yeah, Shad's always says cow when he's referring to women he doesn't like.
It's my replacement.
Let's pull up that picture of the three.
The other word.
Sitting around at dinner. So yeah, I got 7 episodes in, and by the 6th episode, I think there was one that pretty much primarily featured Batman, and it's boring. The thing is, it's really boring. Not well written. Not well put together.
Oh, yeah, it's dumb.
And keep in mind that Warner Brothers, who owns DC, owns the character Batman, canceled this show and sold it off. Didn't feel like it was good enough to put on Max. So they sold it, and the idiots at Prime Video bought it, dropped it all at once. There was a very little fanfare, by the way, with this. And we'll see. We have some articles. Do you have that picture, Garrett, of
which one were you looking for?
Gary.
It's on my Twitter of all 3 of them sitting down.
Oh, that one? Yes, let me go get that one.
Gary, you mentioned the bad writing, right? Here's an example of the logic and intellect of this show, okay? So the first episode, I'm sure people don't care about spoilers, right? The Penguin's, like, trump, card weapon is this giant cannon on their boat, right? And she reveals it like it's this big mystery that, gee, no one knows why these buildings are blowing up, right? And she reveals, it's because I got this giant friggin' gun in my boat.
Not that one.
Right? And no one knew what was going on. And I'm thinking, that makes a lot of noise, like a massive amount of noise, and probably a big flash, and it's just
and leaves a shell.
It leaves, and like people are wondering where this is coming from. Why don't you follow the noise and just look in that direction, and you'll see a boat with a cannon on it? No one saw this, and then she reveals it. It was so stupid.
There was also the bit where both the villains meet each other, and they both know they're trying to kill each other and they're in the middle of a war. And he goes, oh, yeah, I only survived because I've got a spy inside your organization. And it's that son. And she kills him. She trusts what her villain tells her. It's like, what on earth?
No questions.
All right. Yeah. It's like, doesn't even check into it. It's like, I always believe my nemesis.
Now, is this the Bechdel test?
I'll come down here since the timer thing is back up there.
Yeah. Oh, son of a bitch. I think I know how to do that.
Hi, everybody.
Disparu. On top of that, right? If you have a leak in your arch nemesis's thing, I'm going to tell them that I have a spy in them so they can weed him out. You would not want to tell anyone about the spy.
He still has her other son inside her organization, and then when he contacts him, he's like, "No, don't stay in deep cover. I can use you." He's like, "I don't care about you anymore. You're on your own." Literally, just throws away assets. It's wild.
Yeah, and the thing that made Batman the animated series so fucking good was the storytelling. It was there was like good moral storytelling, and there was good morality tales, stuff that made you think. That really characterized Batman, and Batman becomes essentially, for the first few episodes anyway, a side character in his own show. So what you're seeing here is from left to right, Harley Quinn, Renee Montoya, and Barbara Gordon. So that Batgirl.
Completely unrecognizable. It's like
who out of these is fucking each other?
All of them. I'm assuming.
Well,
I mean,
it's already come out that 2 of the 3 are lesbians, and I already have the wiki prisoner of the moment people on Twitter going, it's that way in the comics, and yeah, it sucked. It sucked in the comics too. New 52 sucked balls, and it sucked then. It sucks now, but they were never other than Barbara Gordon. They'll probably make her lesbian too. Why the hell not? Yeah. They're all U-Haul drivers, okay?
You know, Robin's gonna be gay, and Alfred's probably gay.
Alfred's fat
and gay.
The moment you get Penguin, turn it into a woman, and start trying to pretend she's a criminal genius after we've proved she's an idiot, anything out of the comics is gone anyway. You can't simultaneously change everything and then cling to the comics being canon whenever you want. You either make something comic book accurate or anything is fair game the moment you start changing
comic book
stuff.
Accurate after a retcon. Now, to be fair, Disney retcons the shit out of everything. But they've really... The whole SJW Marvel thing was started by DC. Like, DC was the first one to dive into that in the mid to late 2000s, and I hated it then. I hate it now. It's fucking terrible. The character of Harley Quinn is terrible. She needs to be killed off. She was only really good in Batman the Animated Series. She's fucking worthless now. She's some sort of feminist icon in this show, by the way. The big fat Asian. No, it's Dr. Quinzel, Asian woman. That's what I'm calling her. She captures greedy rich men. So she's fighting capitalism and the patriarchy. Both. Both.
I hate this fucking show, dude.
Let's get to episode 5. We'll show the clip from episode 5.
Let me bring that up.
Just because, by the way, Bruce Timm is out there. And the reason some of us got criticism for calling this woke Batman, the reason we did that is because Bruce Timm told us this would be woke Batman. I'm going to do all the stuff they wouldn't let me do back then. This is my true vision of Batman, the animated series. They're pulling that shit. So
it really sucks because, like, I do like the animation. I think the animation is really well done.
I wouldn't go. I think it's flat.
I think it's well done. I like the style that they're going with. It's just a bad fucking story, and all of the characters aren't, except for Batman. I think you were saying earlier, like, I like the characterization of Batman. He was fine, but he's in the movie or in the show for like 10% of every episode.
It's not much until later.
It's not much at all. It's just following Montoya.
I did like how he just yeeted those motherfuckers out of the way with the Batmobile, like to save Barbara Gordon in that first one.
Yep. At least Catwoman looks good too. Catwoman looks fine.
Catwoman's good. Yeah.
But then we got this.
I'm sorry. There's an emergency
Just so quiet.
with the patient. Oh. Tell you what, meet me later at Hopper's on Wilson and Lowry. We'll pick up where we left off.
It's a Batman show. But we've been following Renee Montoya on a date. She's the lead detective now. We see more of her than James Gordon. And it's freaking terrible. It's terrible. Now, was that from the comics and the retcons? Sure. Like, except for, I don't know. I haven't read the DC comics. Have they made Dr. Quinzel a fat Asian woman?
Yeah, was that in the comics?
No, but
she's not a fat Asian
them
woman.
becoming lesbian and Poison Ivy and like they're all. I mean, pretty much everybody's a lesbian or gay in DC now. So
well, like wasn't Montoya
always
like an original character from the animated series? Like I don't know if she was in comics before that, right?
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think she so. Like I think that was another like original animated series character. Yeah. I guarantee she wasn't a fucking lesbo in the animated series.
No, but when they brought her in and made her the question in the comic books, yeah, like,
right, yeah.
But yeah, I honestly don't. I'm not a Renee Montoya expert, but we'll find out. I'll find out. We can.
It's kind of like the Zack Snyder. So they gave Zack Snyder all this money to make this high budget crap, and they gave Jar Jar all this money to make this high budget crap. Well, like, why do they keep doing this?
Her first appearance. Well, this is right around. Yes, Batman 475, 1992. So that's the year the animated series premiered. I don't know. I don't know what came first though. To be honest with you.
So
I was
how much
award of the state in 1992. Sorry.
How much of this you reckon is Jar Jar's vision? How much is it attributed to him that or was he just getting a paycheck phoning it in?
He's an executive producer, and I think Bruce Timm did write an episode, so he is involved. But like Brubaker, executive producer, I think they just threw a bunch of names on this, and it's just people who have done cartoons over the last 10 years who have worked on it. It's really average. It's really basic.
Yeah, it feels like written by committee. All the check boxes
check,
and a DEI intersectional wet dream.
Yeah, like there's multiple. There's Barbara Gordon saves the Barbara Gordon saves the girl. Is it Barbara Gordon or is it Renee Montoya? There's a girl that's in trouble with Clayface, the actress.
That scene too. My God, she's like, what you're doing is just so mediocre. You're not after like Clayface has this. Actually a pretty good little monologue about why he's the way he is, and I'm an actor and I'm finally becoming my true self, the villain. And then it cuts to this girl and she does this wisecracky while she's tied up and she's about to get killed. What you're doing is just so pedestrian. It's just lame. It's just so bad. Oh my God. Like that's how she talks. It's 1940s, 1930s.
She's like, you're an actor, and then he comes in to rescue her. He throws his batarang to free one of the women, and then there's a blade over the other one, and the woman runs over to help her, completely forgets the batarang, and she's just like wrestling with all these knots, almost kills the woman because she doesn't pick up the knife and starts slashing all things. There's so many basic ideas that just nobody was like, why are they doing this? Like in the first one, why does I think it's Barbara Gordon when she's in the car? She says, you drive, gets out, fires 2 bullets at the other guy, misses, and then starts driving again into a wall and just drives into a dead end. There's so many random actions that are just like, oh, we needed an action scene here, so we did something, and then immediately moved on. It's bizarre.
Yeah, so I think this is another thing that'll be just completely forgotten. We'll see.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait, there's an article, though.
Oh, yeah.
There's an article that says we're wrong, that this is the Batman we've all been waiting for. Is finally the Dark Knight of our dreams.
Just peep the writer here.
Crusader.
It's a feminist say.
Yeah, I mean, that looks like the kind of person who would say that it's the Batman of their dreams.
Penguin.
Yeah.
She can see herself in the show. Finally,
if only she could see her feet.
Batman the Intersectional series is out on Prime Video, and it is a slog. It is freaking DEI slog. It is terrible, and I completely understand why Zaslav axed it. It makes a lot of sense. That storage space costs money. Otherwise, Willow would still be on D+, and Disparu might have a chance of getting his Willow season 2.
Yeah, I still message Warwick Davison every now and again going, it was a travesty what happened to you. We really need season 2.
That's terrible.
Hashtag save Willow.
Yeah. Every time it pops up.
But there's
about 4K fucking collection.
Right, yeah, that She-Hulk one day.
Hey, She-Hulk.
Fucking double pack.
She-Hulk could get a season 2. I think that is within the realm of possibility.
Wow.
Well, you know what's
do it, Disney. Do it. Oh,
what were the total physical releases for the Disney Plus shows? Because they did Mandalorian season 1 and 2 and Andor, right?
Yes.
Isn't that interesting?
Is that all they did?
Because I don't think they did Obi-Wan. They certainly didn't do Book of Boba Fett.
Nope.
They're not doing Acolyte, from what I know. I'm wondering if that's a metric to discover success in a show or not.
I doubt it because like Obi-Wan was more watched than like any of those other ones.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, what I guess I'm going for here is not just how much it was watched at the time of release or a particular rating, like overall engagement maybe and search terms or just people talking about these things. Because we know Mandalorian season 1 is one of the most like beloved things, and that I use that word carefully, that Disney have actually come out with. And then season 2, similar, less so, and then Andor's got its fan base. So those 3 getting a physical release to me is like,
Kenobi does have physical release.
I don't think they should fucking do physical release for any of this bullshit, to be honest.
What was on the Marvel side? It was WandaVision and Loki.
Did Loki get a physical?
Yeah, I think Loki did.
I thought they got 2.
That would make sense, right? Because Loki was their most successful TV show, season 1 specifically.
Season 1.
Yep.
I would be interested to know how highly regarded things like Parrot Analytics are from their side. Whether they do just use it for like media advertisements or whether they believe their own kind of messaging.
God, that's a good
I don't
question.
think I think at the end of the day, and they can scream and they can use this to bolster the PR to make it look like it's a success all day long. I can't imagine that they actually sit there and look at Parrot Analytics as a metric of whether this was successful or not. Like, because they are the ones that have the raw data, like the legit fucking raw data for everything. How long were people watching this? When did people give up on the show? You know, all of that shit.
Because the interesting thing is, if you go on Parrot Analytics channel, they have interviews with like the CEOs of companies and stuff. So they're clearly tied in somewhere with the higher ups of these companies. There's some kind of involvement.
I think that the companies want Parrot Analytics to put these things out.
It's marketing.
I don't think it's the inverse. I think they want to have Parrot Analytics there. It's not that the Parrot Analytics data is controlling what CEOs do.
No, Parrot Analytics found a way to take all discourse without parsing out whether it's good or bad and turning it into a positive marketing metric that's based on a headline that they know most people will just eat up. Right. And this goes back to Star Trek. So you remember that, Disparu. That's when I started diving into Parrot Analytics when they were like, Star Trek Discovery is the most talked about thing on the blah, blah, blah. No, it's not.
There was also that time with She-Hulk where one of the actresses used it because she didn't know what the numbers were. So she read the headline and believed it herself.
Exactly.
Yeah, because probably some retarded Stan account was sharing it. Be like, take that, haters.
Chuds.
Right. Because at the end of the day, Parrot Analytics, Nielsen ratings, what's the one that measures households, Samba TV, all of these things are just estimations. Some of them better than others, certainly. Nielsen is like the gold standard, but they're all estimates to tell us the numbers that only the companies themselves actually know internally.
Yeah, I just thought Parrot Analytics was interesting because like Samba TV is trying to measure how many watched it. Parrot Analytics is strictly on about sort of social media kind of hype. So if you were on about maybe like future appeal, then... Because we know they have some weird metrics. Like if you look at Amazon, they don't just go off how many people watched it, but they try and tie it into Amazon Prime memberships and stuff to give themselves a fake view. So,
they might have been counting the trailer watches or the scrolling over auto plays as well, or something like that.
Yeah. I hate counting auto plays on menus as views. That's gross.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. TikTok
so they want
never
to fudge
does
the
that.
numbers.
Yeah.
But the reality is, right, if they were actually proud of something that was truly successful and they got huge numbers, they say this has got this many views, right?
Exactly.
If you want any evidence that they're embarrassed by the low viewership, it's because they're keeping it quiet.
So
yeah, they were sucking themselves off with Loki. They were going nuts over it, and they've continuously celebrated how successful it was. And then season 2 came out, and they were like, "Well, anyway, let's talk about something else."
Let's
let's
talk about the Marvels.
Drop-off. That premiere was a decent drop off from the first season.
Yes, it was. To what Ryan was talking about, the pure data that they have is known by a very, very few people. So probably the executive producer of the show, right? And then the board and maybe a head of studio. But like if you're a director on that show, you're not getting the numbers. If you're a writer on that show, you're not getting the numbers.
I will say that it might be open to more people now because with the new actors and writers, all that shit that they negotiated during the strike, now there are certain metrics that kick in when 25%, that's considered like a hit for them to get the bonuses.
Mm-hmm.
If your show is watched by 25% of a subscriber base for a streaming series, that's considered like a hit and you get some sort of bonus calculated in. So like now that those are tangibly written in, I do wonder what type of oversight the union would expect to have on those things. Cause I doubt they're just going to take people at their fucking word.
Well, you never know. The union rep that I spoke with, thanks to RMB, said that the head of the union had access to those numbers, but they are not to share them. And it wasn't the union's biggest concern. They wanted that bonus, but they were fighting for more up front. Now that might have changed during the negotiation because I talked to the guy pretty early on in the strike. But I would imagine that there has to be some kind of verification at this point with certain parties. But I don't think they're going to tell a random actor because they're going to go out and pop it off. They're going to go out and say, So I don't know how that works though. But either way, the reason they don't share these numbers is they are complicated, but if you break them down to their basic level, they'll be extremely low. Like, you will be shocked that, my God, they spent $200 million on an Acolyte that I'm just going to pull a number out of my ass that was watched by 300,000 people. You know, but one episode was watched by 300,000 people. That's like CW level bad.
And to this day has about 3 fans.
Yeah, I mean, what are the numbers that like
passionate,
Disney themselves gave us? Like, just to go by their numbers, what was it, 11 million or something over that first essentially week? Watched the first episode globally on a subscriber base that has around 150 million global subs with Disney Plus. So and like I can't imagine the number went way up after that, right?
Yeah, I'd love to see the drop off.
So 11 million globally over 7 days.
It's obviously less than 10%. Yeah.
First 5 days here. This is from Star Wars News.
Yeah, so that's about 1.5 million people a day watching it. That's not very good.
I would venture to guess that half of that was the first day it came out.
Yeah.
Right?
I was just averaging it out over 7 days.
Right.
Yeah. So what was that you had up there?
I'll bring it.
Oh.
It's just a confirmation.
11.1.
Proof that my fucking autism won, that I was right with 11 million.
Isn't this a bit badly worded as well? Because I think Variety, when they came out with it, just said like it opened, so it was across both the episodes that it started with. So it wasn't just the pilot, as this says.
Yeah.
So there was mixed messaging with it when it did come to that, but ultimately the one that was actually reported by Disney was 11.1 million on the first episode alone.
Okay.
Not the whole thing as a whole. But there was some mixed messaging surrounding it.
And
a lot of speculation that the first report they gave was based off both episodes. As opposed to,
I remember one they put out, they didn't say anything. It was very vague.
It was super vague. That's right.
Yeah, that's the distinct difference between Lucasfilm. There's a distinct difference now between Lucasfilm or Disney Star Wars and Disney Marvel, which were on the exact same path even a year ago, right? The same messaging was in all their shit. Everything was intersectional, but clearly proof that the D Plus shows have been a massive fucking failure and have cost them a bunch of money is we have Disney Marvel making a very public course correction and an admission of failure, an act of desperation. You can call it all that stuff. So I was at Hall H and not a mention of a Disney Plus series. Not even the ones people might be excited about, like Daredevil. No mention of Ironheart. No mention of Agatha, which comes out in about a month. None of it. And Kevin Feige made a point to say, and no mention of phases, by the way. He said, we are just going to talk about the movies coming out. We're going to show you scenes from the movies come out next year. And then he tagged on an announcement of Avengers and bringing back the Russos. And he hauled out all the actors, pretty much all the actors and directors from each show. Even the Fantastic Four cast, which was that started filming this past Tuesday.
So, even Harrison Ford showed up.
Effing Ford showed up,
and they stemmed him with some kind of.
They gave him
he was so high. He seemed so high.
Some of his quotes are fantastic. Like he was asked, wasn't he asked? He was asked some question about coming into Marvel, like some very specific question. He's like, "This is like who shot first, Han or Greedo?" And I got to be honest, I fucking hate those questions. So I'm gonna show you respect by not answering this time, or something.
What about the headline of that I posted on Twitter where he's like he's all, I just came in. Was it? Here, let me get the exact headline.
I'll get it.
You got it. It's fucking funny. It is.
It's like I'm at the point in my career where, hey, we can give you a lot of money, but you have to do stupid, mindless, pointless shit. But I've done that before.
But he's got grandkids, or I don't know. I think he's got kids. Not really sure. Harrison Ford says Red Hulk acting in Captain African American required not caring and being an idiot for money, which I've done before. I don't mean to disparage it.
I don't mean to disparage it.
That last sentence is where he's just realized what he said.
Respect the hell out of
no
that.
offense.
I actually respect that.
National treasure.
I'm so glad. He's not lying. He's not lying.
I mean, fuck him for what he did to Han Solo. But like, honestly, I love the guy. And you know, there was a long time where he didn't give interviews. He had a really good agent who understood him and said, and his response was, I want you to know the character and not me, which is a perfect response for an actor. And then he started giving interviews, and well, you know, it's like Patrick Stewart. You think he's Captain Picard, but he's really got a room temperature IQ. And we're talking Celsius. So
it's like funny. It's really funny to listen to when you don't particularly have a lot of investment in whoever that character is that he's playing.
Yeah.
But when he does like shows that he doesn't give a fuck about Star Wars, it's like, God, it's a little tough to listen to. He's like, when they froze me in kryptonite, they're like, it's carbonite. Whatever, I don't care. Like, you know, it's just.
No,
it is funny.
And
when they bring him out at Celebration with George Lucas standing next to him, he's like, "Are you excited to see the Solo movie?" Not really.
No.
Like, and George is just standing next to him, laughing his ass off because he knows he's probably fucking like high out of his mind, and he also doesn't care.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm with them now. I care more about, even with because there's only 3 Indiana Jones films. I care more about Indiana Jones than I do Star Wars. There he is.
All that being said, Harrison Ford at his age is like so much more coherent than half of the people that are his age in Congress or, you know, the president of the United States or whatever.
Exactly.
Motion capture, or how did you bring the Red Hulk to life?
Don't get me started.
I actually thought it was a pause face for ages, but no, his face stayed that way for a long time.
He's got a strong sense that he's like, I don't fucking shut up. Like,
I just want to go to bed.
Kevin told me I just had to stand on stage for 5 minutes and leave, and nobody told me I was going to be answering questions.
Where he like ran across the stage to kick Anthony Mackie in the ass at one point.
That was great.
Like, he
was actually funny.
He was into it.
That was.
I preferred when Mackie was trying to cover for him. So they ask him a question. He's like, it's like his brain froze. He's like, I've got him in the movie, folks. And it just jumps in to cover the pause.
Dude, and you just can't judge stuff off of Hall H. It's great hearing people being enthusiastic. That's fine. But you are preaching to the choir there. And this is going to be the response you're going to get for every panel, except for the bold women and whatever fucking television one I had to sit through. But like,
was that good?
The fact that this man played the president of the United States in Air Force One,
I'm to the right,
like, in 1991 or whenever that came out, and is now again playing a president of the United States in 2024 is wild.
I am standing. There's a guy on the far right where the AP is.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's meant to be muted, but
I'm right behind that dude.
It's meant to be. I wasn't.
Okay.
It's loud as crap.
But I see that little pin of shills right there on the right. You know, the yellow hat and stuff. They pinned us in, and they said we were allowed one bathroom break, right? And then when I went for my fucking bathroom break, they wouldn't let me back in because the guy who wrote my name down went to lunch.
So like, we put hay on the ground, just piss there.
Yeah, it's funny. It was funny. I can't say how we got in. It was pretty much like, act like you know what you're doing. It's like in the movies, you put a hat on and you just kind of follow some people. That's what we did. And we got in.
The glasses funny. With the nose and the mustache.
Yeah, that was it. It was great. And then we had to sit through, was it Bold Women? What the fuck was that panel? It was
Bold something.
It was terrible. It was breathy women
loads
talking about the gender and pay gap or whatever the fuck in Hollywood, and they're all millionaires up there. The chick who plays the AOC character in The Boys.
Bold School.
Bold School. Yes, Bold School. The writer of Abbott Elementary, Kate Mulgrew.
That's Entertainment Weeklies, and they are the ones that used to be called Superpowered Women or something like that, or Women That Rock. It was some weird name.
Yeah, so they changed it to make it less cringe, and then forced the entire Hall H who was waiting for Marvel to watch this. You could hear a pin drop. Oh, also the woman who plays Tar Muriel, she's just fucking Muriel, in Rings of Power, and she was actually the most normal one and everybody else was breathy and weird. There's another one there I didn't care about, but yeah, it was terrible. And then we sat through the Penguin panel, which looked really average, super average. But then, this big Marvel presentation happens, and they showed a trailer for the Thunderbolts. They showed a trailer for Captain African American. They were both like awful. So you see, the trailers will be out soon.
Contrast.
So
who was at the Penguin panel? Sorry, the Penguin panel, the TV show. Because was Colin Farrell there?
Colin Farrell was there via Skype or Zoom on the screen.
Can't even fly.
And Matt Reeves was there. And the showrunner who has no experience.
Well, because that might be it for the Reeves universe, that show, right? That could be it.
That could be it.
He's really involved, though, it seems like, in promoting all this stuff that's coming out, all the James Gunn stuff. So I have a feeling they're still going to let him have his little thing off to the side.
So the Thunderbolt...
How can you have Brave and the Bold and
weird.
Batman 2?
You can't.
Unless they give him Brave and the Bold.
James Gunn has proven he's full of shit, and he has no problem being full of shit to protect the DCU, and you do have to lie. It's like being a baseball general manager or a general manager in the NFL. You're going to fucking lie. That's part of your job. You need to lie.
Like being a lawyer.
Yeah, even if they did tell Matt Reeves, like, you're done, your Batman's over because we've got new ones, it doesn't mean they wouldn't boot him entirely. They might be keeping him around because they'll put him on someone else.
I mean, with somebody with success, they do care about, like, not pissing them off because they might have to work with them in the future. So there is a certain amount of that. Disparu, we both read it in a Rings of Power article when we were talking about Lisa Joy. They were talking about Jennifer Salk's excessive spending, and the reason they kept Lisa Joy and Jonah Nolan's show around was because they didn't want to piss off Chris Nolan's brother.
Yeah, they were scared of losing political capital.
Political capital.
Bizarre. But then the Amazon CEO came in and a couple of weeks after it was found out that he was looking into the budgets of Amazon Prime, suddenly all those things got cancelled. Like all the things that had been renewed, when the CEO gets involved, he's like, stop it. I was surprised she didn't lose a job after that. After he's inspected it and gone, you're just wasting millions of dollars. And then Steve keeps her on.
It's funny
Matt
you say
Reeves,
that, by the way.
executive producer on Cape Crusader, by the way.
Who is?
Matt Reeves.
Yep.
Yes, he is. Sorry, go on, Mark.
I suppose that makes sense. Oh, I was just going to say that it's funny because I was going to suggest, like, yeah, worth keeping Matt Reeves around because he's like an artist. You could tell from the Batman. He's got a unique blah, blah, blah. There's like political capital is much more likely the answer, yes.
Yeah, I mean, out of the disciples of Jar Jar Abrams, I would say he is the most talented by far. Like, by far, he is the most talented person. He doesn't do mystery box all the time, and he actually has a style that's his own. So I'll give him that. But most everybody else is a repurposer.
I found that Harrison Ford clip. This fucking interview.
Let's hear.
Who shot first, Guido?
Right.
Or
Guido.
You know, I've always...
He did say Guido.
Guido. I love this. This is fucking brilliant.
Please treat these questions.
Oh man, you can feel
he's pissed.
It hit him as he was getting asked that question.
You see his heart breaking.
Dude, when the interviewer's face, that is like literally cringing.
When he said King of the Serpent Society, remember, he looked back at him like, what does that mean?
No, he looked back at Giancarlo Esposito because he's playing the main villain.
No, I know, but he's still, look at his face. He's not doing it just to be like, respectfully, you play the role. He has no fucking clue what this is about.
He's like, are you
Continue on for a little bit. Hit play a little bit because I want you to see the look on his face after. Hang on. You had it paused earlier. It was like, I don't give a fuck. And the guy's looking down at his card like, how do I get out of this? I'm so embarrassed right now.
Save this, this.
Always been the problem with the vast majority of these interviewers. They have a script. They have no idea how to move past it or through it in any way, shape, or form. You get those unique interviewers, not to say this is for the same circuit, but like a Conan O'Brien who can basically read anyone and match their energy / bounce off them. But then you get people who are just like, I said what was on the card and things aren't working. Help. What do I do now?
Yeah.
Like, I got 15 more niche questions here. I don't know what to do.
So sorry, it reminds me of that interview Leslie Nelson did where he has the fart thing and the interviewer just can't hack it. And he gets thrown off completely.
Leslie Nelson killed this
man.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Whatever.
Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson.
I thought we were just going to let it go. And...
No.
Liam Neeson might be playing Leslie Nelson's character.
That is true.
Which is funny.
Liam Nielsen.
No, they had they had the actor who played Peter from Deadpool come out asking questions to everybody, and he was just reading off a card. And you think that guy's pretty funny, right? That guy's he can riff. He doesn't riff at all. He just reads the questions. You guys have seen the videos. So we saw the trailer for the Thunderbolts. You'll see it soon. It looks terrible. All except for Red Guardian and the Task Mistress. Do you remember the Task Mistress from Black Widow? I know you've always wanted that character back. How about Ghost?
Yeah.
Remember Ghost from Wasp and Ant-Man?
Yeah, they threw so many of these diversity characters at the board for this one.
Holy crap.
I like they all come in one by one for each movie. They're like, now the power of many.
Many. Hey, John,
It's
John,
great
them
that
off the
Bucky,
top,
like
just
Bucky is wrapped up in all this shit.
Bucky's there with John Walker. So yeah, it's like all the offshoots of all the crap from the MCU, and they're led by Florence Pugh, Black Widow, and most of them are not even in costumes. Ghost, for instance, she doesn't have her ghost costume. She looks like she's in the Hunger Games. She's an archer for some fucking reason. She can teleport.
By the way, that this is a collection of what you could call sub-villains, as in like they're actually not even the main villain of their own stories. Some of them are like the lieutenant of the main villain in their own stories in the MCU. But like their relevance, everyone's understanding of them, it's the same way for the heroes right now. They could just do, it's like there's more MCU hero people that nobody even knows where they're from or what they do. When Ironheart shows up, no one's going to know who she is. It's like, oh yeah, she was in Black Panther Wakanda Forever that no one remembers.
And I hope they do it like in a very like slowly building up, and she says something like on your left and and everyone just
who's that?
Yeah, like there's so few characters in Thunderbolts that I give a fuck about after what we've seen. Like, yes, I still do like care, despite Falcon and Winter Soldier. I still like care about Bucky. I guess I'm kind of interested in Captain Make America Great Again with John Walker.
Yeah,
but
I like Zemo.
I don't know.
Still,
he's not in it.
Is he in the?
He's not in it.
He's not in
so
it.
they
He's
have
one of the only characters they have in the MCU that's actually from the comic books.
They have
of the
no.
Thunderbolts.
They have no Thunderbolts in the Thunderbolts.
I'm so pissed off.
No Thunderbolts.
Like I'm a fan of the original.
The original
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts, yes.
Run. I loved it. Right.
No
That's
original
really
Thunderbolts
cool
in the
It's a
Thunderbolts.
good idea too, right?
It is.
It's the Suicide Squad for Marvel.
Yeah, this sucks. I'm pissed off about what they're doing with the Thunderbolts. What a missed opportunity.
What the hell are they doing with Zemo? Where is he?
He's still dancing.
Yeah. He's in prison. They took him back, right? In Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Wakanda
on
prison?
Raft?
Yeah, he's in
Is that Raft still
Wakanda.
around?
He's in the prison of the Ethno state with the giant force field wall around their country. That's very prosperous, by the way.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Another one of those leftover products.
So then there's Captain African American. I saw that trailer, and at the end you see Red Hulk out behind the presidential podium. And
Shit.
yeah.
Oh,
So you see his
Make America
face.
great
and-
again.
Yeah. Yes.
You just have it tattooed on his chest.
The president is the villain.
So I don't know if you caught when Harrison Ford was talking about how he was playing the role, he almost went a certain direction, then he caught himself because there was a clear edict before that. Don't get political. Don't say shit. Just talk about the MCU. So there's that. That's what I noticed when I was live there. I'm like, oh, he just drew something back he wasn't supposed to talk about. But they're clearly trying to change stuff because they got their shit out of the way without even mentioning D+. Then they did Fantastic Four footage, which we've talked about a lot. A female Silver Surfer is going to fucking ruin the movie for me. I'm just telling you that right now. That's fucking retarded. But then we got the announcement of the Russo brothers coming out, and they got rid of poor Jonathan Majors is heartbroken because I think he probably found out that day that his movie wasn't moving forward, and they announced Avengers Doomsday, which doesn't have a script. Doomsday, whatever.
Avengers Coom Day.
Oh, shit.
I think he's got something written on his hand. Like he's in an SAT test.
Does that mean they're going to have to tie in the Fantastic Four film that's supposed to be in another reality or universe into the mainline Avengers stuff?
That'll be easy for them. They fucking break the universe constantly now.
I'll just have the TVA do it or some bullcrap.
Yep. Well, at least the Thing is going to look like the Thing from the comics. You got that. And it looks like they're going to have their origin from the comics, but they're in another universe, a multiverse, where it's like a more advanced 60s, like a more sci-fi 60s. That's the aesthetic.
Retro futurism.
And yes, it's going to lead into that universe being destroyed and go right into Secret Wars. So this is all a setup for Secret Wars. And that's why they changed Kang Dynasty to Doomsday, because they needed a villain that would have worked. And I've always agreed with Ryan. I don't know about what Jonathan Majors did and was found guilty for. He should have been canceled for his performance and the character Kang being fucking retarded.
Yeah.
Moving from Kang being the main villain and over to Robert Downey Jr. being the main villain is nothing but them being like, look, we had a chance to redo all of this, and we're going to go with the most pandering, key jangling, audience drawing move we could possibly do. And they have.
Oh,
and there it is.
I didn't mean to do that.
I don't like their pick for Robert Downey Jr. as Doom. It feels forced, desperate, and out of character.
Because it is.
Try to get the heads lined on the bottom so the timer isn't covered.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think most people expected them at some point just to bring him back as Iron Man if he was willing to do it. But as a different character, it just seems like the worst of every world.
Well, I mean, there's theories that this will bring him back as Iron Man, as in like they'll save him from mind control or whatever, and then he'll be the back as Tony, which is honestly, if they throw another fucking $100 million at him, I guess he'll do it.
I don't like this whole idea of coming in as a villain and then suddenly you're a superhero and all is forgiven when you've wiped out universes and stuff.
Well, he's mind controlled Disparu, so it's okay.
Yeah.
There are multiple incarnations as a Tony Stark as Dr. Doom. There's an Exiles book by Judd Winnick from 2003 with an Iron Fist, and then there's the infamous Iron Man. They can draw on all that, but they announced him as Victor Von Doom in Hall H.
Yeah.
He's going right into Secret Wars, so he's not going to stay. Do you think he's going to stay? I think he'll stick around for those two appearances.
Shit, $100 million? I'd stay. I mean,
I think that was the deal, right? It's like the contracts that were reported for the Russos and for Robert Downey Jr. were both for basically Avengers 5 and 6.
Yes.
Now, I do think we will see Robert Downey Jr. in more than just those two movies.
He'll be at the end of Fantastic Four.
Like in Fantastic Four, in just a real small way. But yeah, I think it's just for those two. And like them combined, for two directors and one actor, you're shelling out over $200 million basically for two movies.
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if they had a meeting where they said, we've got to get Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, Hugh Jackman Wolverine, and Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man in the same room, in the same scene at some point. We've got to have, because that'll bring everyone back.
So, and it's an act of desperation. It's so White Boy Summer. It's White Boy Summer. We have Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, and RDJ comes back. And I was just, I knew this was going to happen, but I was still relieved it wasn't like Leslie Jones coming out as Dr. Doom. Progress, not perfection.
I want to see a scene where 45-year-old Tobey Maguire says, "I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark," to his 60-year-old Robert Downey Jr. Dr. Doom.
All the young, diverse black women did not work out. Do we have somebody that's in their 70s? Somebody, Harrison Ford, get him in
make
here.
Make a joke about
Robert Downey Jr.
Chris Evans being almost 50 in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, we didn't look it.
Well, yeah, you got an army of people keeping you healthy, and that's
drugs.
RDJ is sober. He has an army of people keeping him sober, and good for him for doing that. By the way, I'm fine with that. Have your personal guru there, and your whatever you can get. I don't blame him. Because
I want to know what he's going to use this fleet of trailers for, because that was in his contract.
Yeah.
So,
really?
How many are there, and what are the uses? That's
whatever the fuck he wants.
He made this whole universe.
Yeah, there's no doubt this is a move of desperation.
Yes.
Right. And I think that obviously by bringing Robert Downey Jr. back, they're hoping to capitalize on all this nostalgia. They're hoping to get fans back and interested. I will say this, before last weekend at San Diego Comic-Con, quite literally, no one gave a fuck about the future of the MCU. The moment after they made that announcement, people were far more interested in the future. Some of them for positive reasons, some of them for negative reasons. So they achieved that initial splash. But I think just the idea of casting your most iconic character in the franchise's history to come back and play a villain in this whole multiverse thing, I think you could land it, but I think it makes it immensely complex to stick the landing in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
So I think they have their work cut out
don't,
for them with that move.
If they completely fuck it, which I think is much more likely, then that's their final significant chip to play.
Yeah. Because if they could pull it off, all right, that he is a variant, but still his name is Victor Von Doom and he is actually evil. But if they could make it that he is as competent and capable as the Tony Stark of the MCU and he is just messing everyone up, all right, there might be something, but they have to pull it off.
Probably what it's going to be. Is he's going to be the other side of the coin, a variant with a different name and background.
It's not even just that you need a writer that can do this. You need a writer that can do this and the time, space, and ability given to them. Because the way they format all these movies is rush. Some of them, they're like, oh yeah, coming in this. As in Fantastic Four, you said it's only just begun shooting. It's already set to release same time as Superman, right?
It's going to release in 1 year. Yes.
And Superman's wrapped filming now.
Yep.
So look at the post-production difference in those two.
Yep.
Yeah.
I do think they'll have more power.
Wrap filming period, or are they just wrap filming in Ohio?
They wrapped.
They wrap filming.
Principal photography. That's what I heard.
Holy fuck, that was fast.
It might get reshoots though. Every fucking thing does these days.
Yeah, that was fast.
They're getting faster. Remember, they've principal photography for Venom was like a month. It was like 30 days. It's like a TV show. It's like a Game of Thrones episode, our House of the Dragon episode, and it kind of showed. But yeah. They are rushing this stuff because they need, like, this is as fast as they can turn around. So announcing Avengers Doomsday, God, I can't even say it, in 2026, and then Secret Wars in 2027. That's still a long ways away, guys. And it's like,
yeah.
And you still have a lot of shit between now and then. And every time you put out shit, ask the DC EU to the DCU, it harms your brand to normies. And you know, Kevin Feige said it himself in an interview. It's like most people don't know the difference between Marvel and DC. He mentioned like I think he put him on Front Street too. That there's a reporter that said congratulations on the Blue Beetle to Kevin Feige.
Oh my god! One, why would you ever congratulate anyone for that mess? And two, wrong fucking franchise.
That would actually be a fun quiz for like normie family members to name all of those types of movies, like Blue Beetle, Marvel or DC, and just to see them be like, I don't fucking what.
They give a Harrison Ford answer.
I don't care.
I'm not answering that stupid question.
But
you know, the other big struggle is it got Robert Downey Jr., Dr. Doom. Okay, massive character playing a different character than he did before. But at the end of the day, who's he going up against? And as of this point, I don't have an answer to that. And I don't know if anyone's going to, if he's just Robert Downey Jr. going up against the DEI Avengers, is anyone going to give a fuck?
Yeah. My prediction is that if they do it right, Dr. Doom, Robert Downey Jr. will be so insanely tough and powerful that the current discount Avengers will not be able to fight him, and they got to get a Tony Stark from another universe to come into their universe to fight it, and it'll be Iron Man, Tony Stark versus Dr. Doom.
Just him versus himself.
Well, there's a cover. There's a
also
classic
Thor,
Iron Man cover
Captain
of those
America.
two fighting each other, and they'll probably emulate that. But no, that's the bummer about this. Is like it does nothing for longevity. You're going to eventually have to recast Doctor Doom. The Disney buying Marvel and Marvel making their own movies was supposed to be them getting their own shit right, which they can't do anymore, which they won't do anymore. And that sucks because Doom is the best villain in Marvel, period. End of story. Nobody even argues that. And yeah, he's just a man, but he's mastered science and magic. And he's been able to, you know, and he's a good foil for the Fantastic Four. Takes the entire team to beat him. They usually, and sometimes they don't. You know, and Darth Vader is based on him, partially based on Doctor Doom, one of the most well-known villains out there. And they just can't get it right. Their own shit. It's because they've always disrespected the Fantastic Four is one of the most comic books ever made. Right. And it's definitely hard to adapt. But the one way not to do it is by making it a joke or turning the Silver Surfer into a girl or playing into the shit. You need to actually have some earnestness and take it seriously. And it would work, and have somebody who knows the Fantastic Four, which they don't have directing this, by the way.
I think one of the advantages that it does have is we spoke before that to get people back in the cinema, you'd have to have a run of good films because you've lost like benefit of the doubt that people would give. But I think this does shortcut this, and I think like Deadpool proved it, that people will go back for certain actors, and I think they would go back for Robert Downey Jr. and give it a chance.
Yes.
But you have to nail that one. So they do shrink the return if they could get back to good stuff. I think most people don't think they will, but they could.
We all knew that was a card they could pull. It's just that they have to nail it. And they honestly, having hero Stark versus villain Stark sounds like the absolutely most self-masturbatory desperation movie we possibly have in the MCU right now. That's actually why I think it's very possible that they'll do it. Meanwhile, I don't know the context of it happening in the comics, Gary, but I assume it wasn't as desperate as opposed to
no.
I think there's a chance.
Chrissy was going to say something.
What about? Hear me out. A multiverse version of Doctor Doom, but he loves animals. Therefore, Doctor Doom Little.
Shut the fuck up.
Which he also played.
She's right. Robert Downey Jr. was in the terrible Dr. Dolittle movie.
It bombed. It's a mega multiverse.
So, quickly to explain multiverses and how they work in comic books and how they don't work in fucking film is with comic books, you have thousands of comic books. You have decades of storyline, particularly in Marvel, that continues, and you have DC that resets their universe pretty much every 5 minutes now. And it works to varying degrees, but you always have to go back to your core characters. Like they kill core characters off, and like they even, they bring back Barry Allen when most people still like Wally West more. That's the kind of shit they do. So to explain it, like it works fine with an infamous Iron Man, I guess. I don't love the idea in comic books, but you're so long in the tooth in storytelling that, different ideas work differently in comic books than they do in film. It's all truncated in film, and there's still a million other stories they could adapt that are 1,000 times better than multiversal stories, which is usually just to fix continuity. They used to have entire titles to fix continuity, Marvel. I say Mauler. I say Marvel.
Mauler Extended Universe.
Well, they have Marvel 2-in-1 and Marvel Team Up, and those were to fix character continuity.
Well, so because something I'm thinking about, right? Because on Disparu's assessment, which I completely agree with, they already technically did this when Tony Stark and Steve Rogers handed over to Phase 4 and 5. We saw all the goodwill drained out. So bring them back, not necessarily both of them, and you get like a heartbeat. It's almost like defibrillator to the MCU. And really what happens next, then, it'll decide everything. It's just like, why would we expect them? It's like, what would be required? What would they need to do next? They can't keep RDJ around forever. And even if they did, imagine how lame that would become.
He's only 59. We could have.
Well, no, I mean, he's not going to want to. Is kind of what I'm getting at with that. Like, I don't think. And besides, it's not going to work forever.
You can only give him $100 million for 2 movies a couple times before you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, let's be honest here.
It's only going to go up. That's significantly going to eat into the profits of this thing.
Yeah,
absolutely. If they gave him 2 Avengers films and then they announced an Iron Man trilogy with him, which would be insane. And then they were like, he's going to be in the next 2 Avengers movies after that, and another set of movies. It would be like, like this is the Robert Downey Jr. universe.
No, man, on a wheelchair.
It was reported that he only came back. When he came back, he said he wanted the Russo brothers, and he wouldn't come back without them, which is one of the reasons they got so much money. Because if you're saying I'll only work with those, they really want you. You can kind of demand what you want as directors as well. So are they also going to keep doing every single movie? Because after things like Citadel, I'm not even sure they can make a good movie as it is.
No, it was better for the Russos than Marvel coming back because they weren't going to get any work anywhere because all their stuff had been failing and been very expensive. So what this is, to answer your question, Mahler, the reason we didn't see phases even mentioned is because they are just concerned with these movies. Fuck a plan. They need a win. They need a win.
That's always fucking work.
Which is the right plan.
I think that, because if it fails, they don't want to, have all these other films based off of.
They're going to have to reboot everything. They're going to have to recast. And rebooting is a terrible idea. I just always thought recast, but you can't do that when you kill off characters. And that's why you don't kill off anchor beings. You don't kill off anchor beings or your universe starts to erode. Okay?
Yeah. See, it made some sense with Logan because they were planning on ending there.
Yeah.
If you want to end the story, sure. But with this, this has been pathetic because they fucking nobody who died in Infinity War and Endgame stayed dead. They've all got TV shows and other movies.
No one's ever really gone. You know that.
No
Well,
one's
now
ever really
there's just such a cheap, easy fix. It's like, oh, multiverse TVA, bring in a variant. And so character death has no weight or meaning in the MCU now until they try and fix the multiverse mess. But
that's why you don't bother with that. You know, like even the characters like Uncle Ben has stayed dead. Uncle Ben has stayed dead for the longest time. Bucky stayed dead. And when they talked about bringing Bucky back, there was a revolt. People were like, no, Bucky stays dead. It's important that, but then Brubaker kind of did a good job with it, did a really good job with it. And then they were like, hey, I'm okay with Bucky being Cap. And then they reversed that. So there are times it gets pulled off. For the most part, Gwen Stacy, I'm just going to pretend they kept her dead and didn't bring her back as a fucking clone that had sex with Norman Osborn. I'm not going to think about that because it didn't happen, even though I read it.
I've got the comic books.
Fuck. But yeah, like there's certain characters that need to stay dead, you know, but like don't kill off. John Favreau was trying to talk the Russos and Feige out of killing Tony Stark because it was a bad idea, and it remains a bad idea. And killing off Logan, I don't know. I thought Days of Future Past was a better send off, personally.
Yeah,
I'm excited for the Robert Downey Juniverse.
The what?
The Robert Downey Juniverse.
Oh, that
the reboot.
Juniverse.
Extended Juniverse.
Did you find that meme? It's pretty funny. So Disparu, you watched the Section 31 trailer, right?
Oh.
Did you watch
just the trailer? I went through the panels, then I went through the live action comedy Star Trek panel, and the panel is worse than the trailer. When somebody said, so what is Section 31? What's it like? And he said, it is Guardians of the Galaxy 3 on steroids. I died.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably the worst description of Section 31 you could ever do.
My favorite part of the trailer was the closed caption on YouTube could not translate Georgiou, so they called her Fipa Jew.
I was watching that stream like when it happened.
That was great. That was great. No, we're not going to talk. We can't even show that trailer because they'll hit us. But go watch. If you want to see the worst trailer of the year, that's it. It's going to be so fucking bad.
Oh, no, I think there's going to be a worse one. I don't know when the trailer's coming out, but the live action comedy will be worse. It is from the writer of Dear White People. And all the jokes. That is literally the one that you can't be black, you can't be racist against black people because it's a system of oppression. It's that trailer. And all his jokes are around the same thing.
Yeah, because activists are known to be so funny.
Mm-hmm. So you can imagine that in Star Trek.
Funny.
There's also the Section 31 writer that thought Star Trek was about what was it? Hyper-inclusivity. It's like the Federation doesn't allow anyone in.
That's
funny. Oh my god.
Avengers: Age of Downey.
The thing is,
I'd watch
with
it.
the TVA and multiverse, they could unironically do that if they wanted.
His Hulk is so fucking funny.
Please do. I want it.
If Disney officially announced this and called it the Downeyverse, like just unironically,
like being John Malkovich. Yeah. It's the being John Malkovich of superhero films. So where does it lead? I don't know. What's the box office drop for the second weekend, if there is one, for Deadpool and Wolverine? Do we know? It's Friday. We should have some number out there, right?
It's doing really well.
What's that
Box
noise?
Office Mojo.
There should be just
Sorry, I'm trying to eat.
It should be in the Hollywood Reporter.
I haven't seen any numbers for this weekend yet, but tracking the weekly numbers, it's leaps and bounds better than Multiverse of Madness. Like when you look at the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's significantly outperforming, sometimes doubling the weekday results for Multiverse of Madness. So that would lead me to believe that it's not going to be nearly as bad of a drop. That was a 67% drop.
Yeah.
I think we're probably looking somewhere in the realm of, plus 60 probably, but not like a 73% drop or anything.
Yeah.
What's the total? 630 million
Holy
global.
shit.
Wow.
Woo.
Yeah. So it's hitting $1 billion.
Wow. Yeah.
It would have to be the biggest drop off not to hit $1 billion at this point. So,
Man,
yeah,
that's going to make Marvel desperate to do more Deadpool. They're going to really want to milk that now. And I wonder what they're going to try and do with Wolverine going forward.
See, they're going to learn all the wrong lessons.
Every time.
It's going to be filled with cameos and it's going to get diluted again. And it's already diluted, by the way. That's the problem is you can't, like I said before, you can't make a singular superhero movie anymore. They can't make it. They're trying to crack the Blade code because they for some reason, because this is what happens with corporations, they can't contract. They can't just make a movie for $70 million with a $300 million box office, which would still, or say $400 million. That'd be profitable, really profitable. That's what they should be doing with the Blade movie. But they're thinking we need this to be $1 billion. It's like a Blade movie that's rated R is not going to hit $1 billion. And you shouldn't even fucking try.
It's only one Blade.
Yeah.
Well, also,
it's only ever going to be one Blade.
Just make it for like $100 million or something. It'll make a profit. What's your problem? I don't know why they have to spend massive budgets to make even more money. Like
they're spending a blockbuster just on Robert Downey Jr. basically.
Yes.
I've got the comparison up here between Multiverse of Madness and Deadpool. So this is Multiverse of Madness. This is Deadpool and Wolverine. Obviously, Deadpool Wolverine opened significantly higher than Multiverse of Madness with 211 instead of 187. But look at the weekday numbers here, the ones that aren't shaded. So Multiverse of Madness, after a $38 million Sunday, goes 13, 12, 9, 8. Look at Deadpool, 24, 25, 19, 18.
Yeah, that's double.
So it's like, it's doubling its weekday numbers. So I would think that would indicate that we're probably going to have a better hold than a 67% drop. But obviously, whenever anything opens at $200+ million, you're probably going to see a pretty heavy drop.
Is that for real? A 7% drop from Thursday to Thursday.
Fuck.
That's opening Thursday.
That's insane.
That's insane.
This is this is not that. This is 7% less than the Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday. Okay,
before.
sorry. All right,
Yeah,
that's why I was like, what? So that's not
So, I mean,
24.
But like the numbers you can look at, right? The Monday drop. What did the Monday drop off from Sunday? And that was 54% as opposed to Multiverse of Madness, 65%. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Multiverse of Madness was released in May as opposed to the middle of summer. So you could argue maybe more people to go to the theaters and stuff.
But coming off the heels of No Way Home, it had and Deadpool and Wolverine's coming off the heels of the Marvels. It's a big difference. Big difference. So yeah, it's making all the money, and they're still like promoting it out there. By the way, the actors and like they're showing videos that there's a lot of genuine enthusiasm with people. Not everybody loves the movie. I know this is a shocker. There are different opinions here on
everybody
this panel.
here loves it.
What?
Yeah, everyone here unanimously.
Everybody here loves it unanimously, including Mauler. He said it's even better than Infinity War.
Mauler said
before we started the show.
Shad, I've watched your video. You had plenty of writing issues with
Oh,
it.
I did. This is one of those films that I actually think is really bad, but I still enjoyed. But the writing in it is absolute trash.
Yeah, the story is bad. It's ass. It's trash.
It's not good.
But it's Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. They're playing Deadpool, Wolverine. Yeah.
The TVA brings it down.
Don't expect it to be good.
The TVA brings it down.
But the thing is, I think
Turn
it's
your
not going
brain
to
off.
age. It's not going to age well because all the things I enjoyed, those things you
No.
enjoy at the first viewing, and then there's nothing to really carry it forward in terms of having good nostalgia or memory because now everything's been spoiled. You saw the cameos, you had your fun, you heard the jokes, and when you hear a joke a second time, it's not going to land the same way. And so the things that usually will stick with you will be the story and the emotional kind of beats and stuff. And it's all built on toothpicks. It's vapid. It's hollow. There's nothing of substance in the film that's really going to carry you through.
You don't like the dog with the tongue hanging out, Chad?
I actually hated that.
That's
dog.
called dog pool.
Like they would try to say, "Oh, it's so cute." I was like, "Shoot that ugly freak!"
Mauler.
Yeah.
You
can't be allowed to have babies.
You didn't attach to Wells Pool. You didn't like that.
I mean,
that was for you.
Welsh Pool.
Yeah,
And it was
Welsh
like
Pool,
it was a
They
soccer
almost got
player.
me.
Wasn't it a
Almost
soccer
got
player?
me.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought of Mauler when I saw that because your flag is the coolest.
It is
It
really
is the
rad.
coolest.
With the
It's
dragon
fun.
on it.
My favorite
Maybe
thing
I would
about the
like
British
if they'd
flag.
given him one line, and I said in a tweet that Deadpool could have been like, "Oh my God, it's an alien," or something like that. This is a nice little reference. Maybe I would have liked the film then, but no, they only showed
Not
us.
enough.
Too bad.
No.
Oh,
Well, it's gonna. I hope it carries the summer because we got Alien 1.5 coming up, and then
Gen Z's in space.
Actually, Beetlejuice looks okay.
Well, we've never even talked about that. What do you think of Beetlejuice's trailers?
I like them.
I think they're all right.
Yeah. It seems fun. Could be return to form.
Pleasantly sort of surprised with the special effects in the trailer. At least I was like, that's fun. Beetlejuice is a crazy fucking movie when it came out to be as successful as it was, and it's kind of awesome as a recognition of the time that we could have something like that be successful. Never a huge fan of being like, let's try and recreate the thing that you know. It's the same worry we have for this as everything else. But I mean, what else? There's no other way to do this, right? It's Tim Burton, so.
Is there enough nostalgia or interest for people to care to show up for it?
I don't care at all.
Maybe
that's just
maybe it's an American thing, but Beetlejuice is really popular over here, and Tim Burton. So the Hot Topic crowd will definitely fucking go. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the trailer.
Every girl decent. When I was a teenager.
It just doesn't look shitty, like So we'll see.
It's basically like similar to Edward Scissorhands. It's like a dirty man making sense of the world. Scary.
Is that what you got?
Edward Scissorhands?
Full of makeup.
Chaos.
Runny mascara.
Michael, the first one was a huge hit. Again, I don't know how it did internationally. It was a huge hit here, really fucking popular, and it's kind of surprising. But this was a time where it could have gotten a sequel, but we said no because of integrity, like the artistic integrity. I mean, time kind of erodes artistic integrity with some people, when you back up enough money. But that's fine. I think, but it's a year filled with fucking prequels and sequels. What choice do we have at this point? But I think out of all of them, this doesn't look offensively bad at all. I like the trailers.
I am much more cynical about Alien Romulus, but
me too.
Because I
like the director. I think the trailer
looks cool. Whether it's actually going to be good or not, it remains to be seen, obviously, because it's current year. But I thought it looks decent.
The director has a good track record. I like the other movies he's done. He's a practical director, very good suspense horror director. So that aspect, I think it'll be direct. It'll look good. It'll have great effects.
The Gen Z people are being murdered.
But the Gen Zs. Hey, that's a positive. When I watch the trailer,
if they were being killed and not killing themselves.
When I watch the trailer, I'm like, who is running this ship? Like, where are the adults? There's nobody that looks like an adult there.
Has Comet's been here the whole time?
No.
Yes. Yes.
I was hanging out backstage the entire time. By the way, Beetlejuice didn't make shit overseas, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like 618,000.
Oh yeah. So
so
that
it
was
made shit.
But that was 1988. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I heard Disparu talking about how.
Okay, I might have liked that movie a lot because I was really fucking high the whole time. Just want to say that.
It's a fun movie.
It's a fun movie. It's weird. It's quirky. Good. It's Tim Burton.
Yeah. I was listening to Disparu talk about theaters yesterday on Drinker's Stream and saying like in a packed theater and it's a comedy show and like nobody laughs or anything. Imagine Beetlejuice in the UK.
The UK would just go, what is this
shite? I don't get
What is this American shite?
Is it funny?
I don't want people cheering and making noise and it's like, shut up and watch the pissing movie. It's bad enough when you're there and someone's talking like the next row. I don't want the entire crowd doing it.
I do hate that.
Yeah, there needs to be some balance, right, between the American version of like being in the theater when every fucking retard is guffawing and clapping and being a fucking like idiot over every single thing that's said, so you can't even hear the next line, versus when you're just you can hear a silence drop when a joke happens in a British theater.
Well, yeah, except the people who can't stop eating throughout the entire thing. They've just got the most rattly bags in the world, or you can hear someone grazing on the other side of the cinema.
Radley Bags was my nickname in college.
And in adulthood. Let's be real.
And now. Yeah.
If I'm in a bad movie with people, I will talk during it and make fun of it, though. Like,
yes,
100%.
Absolutely. When we know it's bad, or like Madam Web, I just stopped giving a fuck and started laughing and going, "What the fuck?" And I had a good time.
What's the Jerry Seinfeld episode when that's like they're trying to get to the movies and everybody cancels and he's like, "What am I going to make sarcastic remarks to strangers?"
Yes.
Yes. That's what you're going to do. So, yeah, it's making a lot of money. It's making a lot of money. And that's I guess it's good. But again, we're going to learn all the wrong lessons, and they're going to fill with cameos, and we're not going to be able to get that singular. The best example is Superman, James Gunn's Superman. Whether they're going to do things backwards, it sounds like they're going to do things a little backwards, like a reverse Kingdom Come-ish kind of thing, which could be interesting. But they're still filling
backwards.
Okay, reverse Kingdom Come. So think Spider-Man in the MCU.
Kingdom don't come.
Yeah. Think
Kingdom do not come.
Come King.
So they have his journey pretty much involve people that weren't involved until after he became Spider-Man. He doesn't really become like Marvel Spider-Man till the end of No Way Home.
Gotcha.
He's still
So you're
Spidey.
saying he won't become Superman until
like
he's not the first superhero.
He's not like the Authority's
coming in
already going to
later.
be there. Justice League International.
Isn't Batman going already as well? Because Brave and the Bold is going to be well into Batman, not even early, right?
Well into Batman. You have the third Robin.
Yeah.
Third Robin.
Okay.
And yeah.
Might get some
not my
Nightwing.
favorite, Damian. Well, yeah, you get the Bat family, and that would be cool. But the thing is, I think if
Damien's the fourth Robin, isn't he?
Or
fourth Robin.
Yeah.
Damien would be the fourth, yeah.
Fourth Robin. Yeah, sorry.
Damien the fourth.
And yeah, there's Jason Todd. And
Jason Tim. Then
Tim Drake was my favorite, and they've destroyed him
He's
in
gay.
the comic books.
He's gay. No,
name any character.
Isn't Dick anybody's favorite?
I love Nightwing.
I love Dick. He's everybody's favorite.
What do you
that one.
think?
You hear it here first. Garrett loves Dick.
He's limber, you know. He's got those moves.
Gary, like a long
He's
ass time
upbeat.
ago. That was like one of the. I made a video on my channel called "Why I Love Dick."
It was all that time in the Navy.
No, when we were reviewing
I was Teen
the Teen Titans TV show, that's all I did was make Dick jokes the entire time. Like they were really hard on Dick, but he rose to the occasion, you know, in this episode. Yeah, that's all
Dick
it was.
is really aggressive in that first episode.
Dick was really aggressive. They pounded on Dick as much as they could.
Did any of you guys watch the Young Justice animated series?
Yes, I
Yes.
love.
Actually, really good.
Seasons.
And Robin was great in the
Oh,
first
don't
two
get my
seasons.
son started on that. He loved the first two seasons, and the rest suck.
I've only ever seen the first two
Absolutely sucks.
seasons.
There are bits of like the subsequent ones that are like okay, but they really started focusing way much on these other characters that they like put in there that I was not fucking interested in. Like, let me see the characters that I came here to care about in the beginning.
Well, it's one of those series that that shift in Hollywood. It's one of those things that started before the big shift, and then you know the 2016 shift. It was over the course of about 2 years, from 2016 to 18. There was the big shift, and there was shows like Westworld where you saw season 1 was before that shift, season 2 was after that shift. Umbrella Academy is another one, and you could say the same for that show. It's just there was times where it just transitioned into shit.
The first two seasons I think are great.
Yes,
absolutely.
When they're really truly sidekicks, right? They're young or whatever. Then the second season they've aged up. They're kind of heroes in their own right, and you get the inclusion of all the other different Justice League characters as well. I thought the first two seasons of Young
really
Justice
good.
were awesome.
It had no business being as good as it was. I was surprised at it. Yeah.
Did you like in the comics Graduation Day? That it's when the Outsiders and the Titans kind of went back before they went into the Teen Titans. You ever read that, Ryan? It's really fucking good.
I don't know if I ever read that one.
I think
I think I've seen a comic cover of it.
Yeah,
but I don't.
So it's when Titans and Outsiders becomes the Teen Titans, and Jeff Johns takes over. Michael Turner does some of the covers. It's called Graduation Day. It's really fucking good. Really good. Good stuff. And it was cool. I liked that show when it came out, but not so much anymore. Now we got Batman the Cape Crusader.
Bro,
God,
that
that show
scene
is
of, like
boring.
the scene of Wally with all the flashes, like with Wally, Bart, and Barry, like at the end before he fucking disintegrates. That's a fucking great scene.
It is. Sorry, I'm trying to get.
It's all right.
No. Animated movie.
No, it's not all right.
Oh, okay. So Watchmen, the animated movie. Did you know one's coming out?
Yes.
Had no idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you know it's coming out in 11 days?
No.
I didn't know that.
Why didn't James Gunn inform us?
Well, because they kind of want this to go under the radar, but it's going to be on Max in 11 days. It's an R-rated, pure adaptation of the comic book. We'll see.
Are we hopeful about this? Or?
I mean,
good.
I like the motion. They came out with a motion comic when Zack Snyder's Watchmen came out. I fucking love that. I think it's good. Okay. Sure, I'll watch it again, but I've read Watchmen so much, and I actually like the movie a lot.
I like the movie.
Yeah,
I remember liking it.
Yeah.
We
started this whole conversation bashing Zack Snyder. Back around to
my rationalization is that it's not hugely to do with him, or that he lost his spark, whatever the hell it was.
It's not a whole lot of him because he's just doing like almost 1-for-1 the comic book, and the comic book is good. Source materials.
You ever seen Sucker Punch? I've seen Sucker Punch.
Sadly, I have.
Like a lot.
That's when because I was a teenager when he 300 and all the Watchmen. And then Sucker Punch came out, and I was like, "Wow, he sucks."
Yeah, 300 was great.
I thought he was
Sucker Punch
good.
was garbage.
Yeah, I did.
People were trying to tell me it was good.
I did.
Like
Sucker Punch, really?
Yeah.
No,
well, I've never heard a single person say that.
No, it's fucking awful.
I don't know them anymore.
I worked on the Blu-ray/DVD. It's fucking awful, and it gets
horrendous
worse.
Movie.
Wait, did that give you unique insight into knowing it was awful?
I had to watch I had to watch the last. It was having trouble getting through quality checking, QC. Now I was pre-mastering it, so I'm the last line of defense. So I have to watch certain points of it. I watched the whole movie probably all the way through like 5 times. But then after that, I had to hit the points where there was problems, which was the ending, which I watched. I lost count after 100. So it kept getting kicked back, and I had to go over that. And it's because it was long story. We're working with Paramount, Warner Brothers, and HBO in particular. But whoever was producing Sucker Punch, I forgot. It's 10 years ago. It was being processed in Bangalore, India, and it wasn't supposed to be. Technicolor was outsourcing their work in secret and not telling the companies they were in contract with that they were outsourcing their work to Bangalore, India. Now, technically, the people were completely capable. They knew what the fuck they were doing, but they didn't understand American nuance, which was a big fucking problem. So I had to act as kind of a middleman for that. And this is where I come up with the story where they took me to a cultural sensitivity thing and Technicolor told me that people from India do not apologize ever for anything. I'm like, really? This is the culturally sensitivity? You're telling me they're not going to say sorry? Okay. Will they take responsibility for their mistakes? No, they won't. No, absolutely not.
They'll say yes to everything as well.
Yes. So I'm like, all right. Turns out the guy I talked to was pretty cool, but they just kept fucking up. So I had to watch it a lot, Mahler. Like a lot. And I fucking hate that movie, and I have PTSD from it. So fuck Zack Snyder. Also,
it's fair. Nobody thinks it's good, back. So you're not saying anything controversial.
Long story short, fuck Zack Snyder.
I was super popular at Technicolor when I accidentally shut down their entire system for a night. True story.
You rebooted that one machine that was like 20 years old.
You saw that red button.
So there was the 20-year-old computer hooked up, and it was connected to everything that you couldn't change, you couldn't touch. By the way, when we were burning, I've told this story before, we were burning your Blu-rays and discs on Nero, and they told us to never log in. Don't ever log in. We're using the pirated version of Nero. So all the people complaining about pirating were, well, I mean, it was kind of open source, but they said don't ever log in. Yeah.
Source.
Yeah.
You wouldn't steal Nero, would you?
$100 program. Why couldn't they just go buy a freaking license?
Well, didn't it start on some kind of open source thing?
Nero?
No, or was it?
Well, I mean, I know it's been bundled with like computers. If you bought a computer back in the 90s.
So Technicolor had a pirated version of Nero. The companies that complain about pirated version were burning your fucking Blu-rays on pirated versions, which is fucking hilarious. Okay. And I'm trying to remember, this is all 10 years, but yeah, they had the old computer, and everything froze and stuck, and it was due to this main old computer. So I'm like, oh fuck it, I'll just restart it. So I restarted it, and it didn't boot back up again. And then the project manager came from his house, dude, because I'm working night shift. He came from his fucking house, panic, going, "What did you do?" And I'm all, "I restarted a computer. Won't boot you back." "You never turn off this computer." I'm like, wow, I'm failing to see the sign on the sticky note that says never turn off this fucking computer because nobody told me that. Like, nobody told me that. I think you should put something there to say not turn this off if you're not going to. I stood up for myself. I'm like, fuck that.
Yeah. You know? Do not touch. Do not look at it.
Do not look at it.
Yeah,
Pretend it's not even here.
Yeah.
Now, what's funny is I put sticky notes all over that thing after he left. I'm like, do not touch. Do not touch. Do not. So that was my response. Yeah.
Save the next guy.
That's quite common, though, in multiple industries. I think even the banking industry is on really, really old computers and really, really old software.
Yes, they
and
are.
what happens is they don't want to either pay the money or it's too complicated to upgrade. And then the guy that runs the system retires, and now nobody understands what happens, how to change it. They have to just keep it there. Everyone's panicked, and they don't have the intelligence to create the system that they're now running. And so it's just waiting for something to go horribly wrong. And it happens in every industry. I think Google said they don't even understand their own algorithm anymore.
They don't.
The people that made it, it's so complicated. They retired, and now it's just the kind of a black box that they just
there.
It's a giant. It's a captured god that they're feeding human remains to keep going.
My God.
That's what it is.
Sounds about right.
That's the Google algorithm.
Just waiting for it to break free. It's funny, your story that's reminded me. British people don't talk in cinemas ever, but Deadpool and Wolverine did break the projector. Something happened to it around the Cassandra Nova when she first meets them. The funny payoff of it was jumping back and forth and lagging before they turned it off. And it was like they were talking, having the conversation, the characters, and then it just flipped to Wolverine flat on his ass on the floor, and then back over to them just talking, and the whole audience started to giggle because he was like, "What the fuck's going on?" Eventually, it cut to black, and one of the people in the audience, again, rare for Britain to even say anything, but we are like snarky fuckers. Someone just said, "Piracy is a crime."
My favorite thing about British culture is if, like, you're in a restaurant or something and someone drops a glass, everyone goes, "Way!" You can't do that abroad. It's it's the worst thing you can do. Nobody else cheers, but it's just your instinct to that.
It just depends on where you're at, Disparu.
Yeah, we say
there's
party
times
foul.
where people will clap and whatnot. Yeah, party foul.
We go party foul.
Yeah.
I usually just like turn and like look and say retard under my breath. That's pretty much the extent
But that's your
of it.
response to everything, Ryan.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's just Ryan being Ryan. He doesn't represent
over his breath.
Over his breath. There you go.
Retard.
Is that over my breath?
No, it's just saying
like
retard
shouting.
normally.
You might think it's your inner monologue, but you're all just fucking retard.
I am pretty loud. Like whenever we go out places and I insult like whoever, I am way louder than I think I am. So
Get a lot of dirty looks.
I do. It's because I'm white.
Well, it really helps that you don't care. I mean, that's kind of an advantage. Sorry about the technicolor, but yeah. So I knew Zack Snyder sucked back then, and I like some of his movies, but like I'm like, oh, don't ever go on your own, bro. Like ever. I freaking hated that, and it was also marketed dishonestly, you know. Did it come out before or after Pan's Labyrinth? I think it came out afterwards. Like Pan's Labyrinth. What was that?
Fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's a great movie. It's a great movie. It's not what you expect, right?
No,
they tried to do the same thing. So that's what Zach does. So like Rebel Moon, if like I've read a lot of heavy metal, and he just, as you said earlier, he thumbed through it and picked out some images and some concepts. But like all those concepts come from either 40K and Dune, Star Wars.
Kurosawa.
Yep. A lot of that stuff.
That's what, when the first one came out, we were playing a game of like how many references can you see stolen from other things, because it doesn't feel at all like an homage or inspiration. It just feels like him being like, well, I like lightsabers, but these aren't lightsabers. This is different. They're really hot blades. That's not the same.
Really hot blades. All right, we're gonna get to soups before we head to our bonus hour on the Green app, where we're gonna talk. What are we gonna talk about?
Well, we got the SAG strike. We've also
Film
got
Actors
Hollywood
Guild, Garrett.
Mental health. Sorry, Film Actors Guild.
Yeah.
As well as many other potentially inflammatory and censored things.
Yes,
because
yes.
it's from
Many things
the
will be
Green
said.
App. We can say whatever we want.
Sure. Rolling the Wretched, 4 parts for $100 total. We got to meet Earth 616 variant of our Earth 199 Gary this week. He is younger, never been out of his basement, and gay. That's what a lot of people on Twitter think I am. Our gay is different in the fact that he is old as dirt, but been to jail and lies about being gay. Remember, Gary, I'm your anchor character. All right. The 616 variant was part of White Dudes for Harris, or as Melanie Mack calls them, the Melanie Mack word. Yes. I think she hit the nail on the head. We're not on Rumble yet. Because those queers make D-Gay Cobra and R-Gay Outpost look like high-tea gigachads. And I pretty much thought that was impossible. Wow, man. Jeremy catching strays. He's not even here. Good.
Well-deserved.
Well-deserved. It wasn't bad enough that Australia is full of retards that cut trees down with swords. The women's rugby team lost to the U.S. How is that even possible? How is that possible?
That's kind of embarrassing, Shad.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
it's like losing a soccer game to the U.S. You wouldn't have lost. You know how you wouldn't have lost the match? The emus.
Sure.
That was the last straw. You criminals and losers are deported to England. There you go.
We're not.
They wouldn't want us back.
We spent a lot of money getting rid of them the first time.
Today's read is how do I say this?
I don't know. Ecclesiastes?
Wait, Ecclesiastes.
Ecclesiastes.
Like, listen, I am saying this right now. I'm saying this. We are surrounded by fucking heathens, Shad.
We are, Ryan.
Christopher Eccleston. 3-1. There is a time for emus and a season for deportation of criminals. Hail FNQ, Fellowship Chat, Mods, Baby Thor, and Pizza Time, Hawaiian Pizza. Dan Voss is gayer than, what is Wolverine dead? What is WDFH?
WDFH.
I didn't know. I was hoping you would.
What the fucking hell?
Oh, maybe.
There you go.
I don't think it fits the context.
I don't know.
There you go. There's nothing gayer than Dan Vask. Okay, there's just nothing. Hashtag free rolling the wretched. That guy's not even on our show. Take it somewhere else. Until next time, so long, gay boys. By the way.
Hang on, WDFH, White Dudes for Harris.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, I would agree. Very
culturally
gay.
relevant.
That's as gay as Dan Vask. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I still like the idea of some like Alabama hick being like, "What the fucking hell?"
No, dude, no. We need Peckerwoods for Harris, and crackers for Harris. I think they should keep going. You know. Oh, by the way, I spoke with Dan Vosk today about our song. So yeah, I've found in the works. I found my lyric notes, which were extensive. There were 2 pages on a little memo pad, and they're going to get emailed to him today after this show, and it's in the works. We have some stuff planned, so that is not forgotten. And Dan Vask is gay. Just remember that. Mark Klein for 50. Hey, all. Hey, Gary. It was great meeting you. I'm Quarterback Garrett at the con. That was great meeting you, too. I'm the guy who gave you the Padres skull pin, which I still have. That was one of the best things I got. Thank you very much. And by the way, how about them Dodgers? I was a little nervous to meet you at first. Why? I'm an idiot. But you guys are cool as hell in real life. I'd like to think so. Thank you. Hope to see you again next year. Cheers. Go Padres. Go Padres. Legalized Adulthood has gifted 40 Nerdrotic memberships for $200. That's a lot of legalized adults. And Master Austin has gifted 20 Nerdrotic memberships for $100. That's a lot of legalized adults. A lot of radicals, a lot of nerds. Oh, yeah, the Olympics are still going on. I could give a fuck.
Do not give a shit.
Do not give a shit.
You mean you couldn't give a fuck?
Oh,
Yeah.
I could give a fuck or I couldn't. Either one, nothing for the Olympics.
I refuse to give fucks.
Yeah, I don't just give them away. You gotta
I've
pay
been
for
paying
them.
attention to the Olympics.
Of course. You run a channel called Sports Wars.
It's true.
How many channels do you run, really?
I really just mine in that one for the most part. I mean, I do streams on Geeks and Gamers. I don't know if I run that channel, but
Jeremy doesn't.
The memes.
he went through a streak where he's making a lot of videos.
He did. He did.
It's ended, but yeah, he was.
It's
on a
over,
streak there.
but that was a good run. It was a good run. What is this?
I think it's supposed to be like Senior Sant.
Senior Sant for 50 New Zealand pesos. The Olympics will from now on be more offensive than any episode of Friday Night Tights. You could bring on Elon and his offensive friends, but you never, ever reach that peak where the automatic or manual transmission Olympics stand. Big points to Russia for its troll ad. That Russian troll ad was kind of funny. John, thank you. John Underwood for $99.99. That's all he does. He drops $99.99 and leaves. Thank you, John. We appreciate it. Hail, John. Matthew Faxine. I just like to say it like it's French. I don't even know if it is. For 1993 is gifted 50 Nerdrotic memberships for $250. Next watch party. Next members watch party. Well, I owe you Clarkson's Farm. But then it's Agatha. You're welcome.
Oh, God.
And Rings of Power,
Looking
too.
forward to that one.
Rings of Power and Agatha. Oh, my God.
Agatha's not dropping all at once. Please tell me it's
No, it's not.
I doubt it.
No, it's
weekly, along with Rings of Power.
at once,
Rings of
though?
Power.
What was that?
3.
The first
Rings of Powers?
one is, yeah.
That's
First week.
insane. Aren't they like an hour long each or some shit?
It's for watch time so that they can.
3 fucking hours of Rings of Power immediately. That's so cruel.
They want to guarantee themselves that they hit over 1 billion minutes watched and all that shit.
But thank you, Amazon, for because I would have had to do the finale in Peru, and now I don't have to. So thank you. I don't have to take time out of my Peruvian vacation.
It's perfect. We wrap it up, and then we go on
And
vacation.
we go on vacation. Mr. Jimmy the Beast for 50. My fellow 599ers, Shad, are you still doing art commissions?
No.
Okay. My dear friend,
Did you ever do art commissions?
Wait, hang on. My
Did
dear,
you start doing?
my dear friend, Ava, has been going through a rough patch lately, and is a big friend of your artwork. I wanted to cheer them up.
Wrong Shad! Wrong Shad!
Did you get any emails, any angry emails or anything? Thinking it was
No,
you?
luckily
Okay.
it seems most people understand the very large difference between the Shads. And he's also kind of disappeared.
Didn't he go to jail for something?
I hope so.
It wasn't the thing. It was something else.
Yeah.
Wait, who?
Shadman.
Oh, I don't know.
He might
Pretty
have.
sure he went to jail, but it wasn't for the thing everyone expected him to go to jail for.
It was for having sex with an old person?
They made that illegal too. Huh?
I'm a Shad man. Ba-ba-dee, ba-ba-ba-da-ba.
Thank you.
Remember that song?
Yes.
Yes.
I thought you were going somewhere, like you're gonna drop a weird.
Shadman arrested for assault with deadly weapon in L.A.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
I mean, it's not that entirely surprising of a charge, to be honest with you. Not the first one I
Probably
think
out on
of,
the streets.
but in the top 5. In the top
It's just
5.
that with everything that's been discussed, when you say he goes to jail, everyone goes, "Oh, I figure," and you're like, "No, not for the thing you figure."
Well, he has a lot of time to do art now. So there's that. Magnum Norse for $100. Obligatory Hundy. Thank you.
Nice.
Jesus, Gary, you should blah, blah, blah by now. You dirty whore. Anyways, I mean, I am. Rings of Power looks like my humble ablution. Absolution?
What?
Absolution? A pile of sheet. It looks like season 2 looks.
I think it's Ablution.
Ablution, yeah. Dude, I've been kicked out of 3 high schools. Some British guys are going to have to help me with that. You guys actually finished school, but yes, season 2 looks fucking awful. It looks like they're going to fuck with lore. We still have no word on if Celeborn's showing up. No word on
Well, they
Celeborn.
did say at one of the panels he will turn up eventually. They said he's coming back.
Okay.
Eventually. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
After Galadriel has
him.
sex with Sauron.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting.
That's gonna be awkward.
Now, I doubt it's this season because they said this in the context of 5 series is a long period of time, so a lot of people will be coming back, and that includes Celeborn. So,
I thought he was cast already.
If they complete, I heard that too, but it's not. Glorfindel's going to be in it, but
like I said,
it was in that same answer.
Yeah, which is fucking terrible, but possible. What does it? It doesn't matter with the show. But think about if we get a season every 2 years, so they'll be done with season 5. What, in like 6 years?
2032.
Yeah.
Debuting on Amazon Prime. Season 5 of Rings of Power.
My son's gonna be
Sauron's
20 years old,
black
man.
now.
The greatest.
No
waste
one's gonna
of
give a
money
shit.
in media history.
So they and yeah, well, one of them's gonna. Sorry, spoilers. One of them's gonna die, but they cast a bunch of old looking elves, and yeah, I wonder what Morford Clark's gonna look like in 10 years. But Magnum Norse for 50.
He's still gonna like horses.
Yep. And I sincerely apologize to Chrissy for being an asshole on her show. Fapalute.
Fap-a-lot.
Is that one of your secret shows, Chrissy?
Yeah, I don't know about this show.
Fapalut.
Fapalut? I don't know what that is.
It sounds like a show you'd be on.
Yeah, it does.
I'm not opposed to it. I just
Thanks for the inspiration.
You're like, is that copyrighted?
It might be Magnum Norse's personal show.
If you're gonna fap a lot. Do it.
He's fapping a lot.
Yep. The one
That's
that's
like
in his
just
head.
this edited video of Chrissy that he has on his phone that he calls fap a lot or something.
I really apologize.
He's like, I was really angry that night. I got a little drunk. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
Yes, stay tuned for Fap-a-Lot 2 coming to theaters this fall.
Yes.
With Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman.
Fap-a-Lot.
What's this name? Coffee. Oh, Coffee Ronan. Okay,
Yeah.
it's just one word. For 10,000 Huffington Posts. Thank you very much.
Hungarian.
Yes. I like your content. My father died today of cancer. Oh no.
Oh, dude, so sorry.
Oh, no.
Thank you
Sorry
for
to hear
keeping
that.
my mind occupied, listening to your content while I'm sleeping awake. I know what that's like. And my pops died of cancer too. Fuck cancer. Also, if someone would write a fantasy novel, what would you seek out in such content? Good writing.
Great
Chad?
characters, fun adventure.
I have a
Some
whole
magic.
list. In fact,
A lot
I'm
of
including
tits.
them all in the book I'm currently writing. So, spoilers.
Ooh.
There you go. Some magic. There you go.
Mhm.
House of Dragon has some good writing so far.
You wouldn't know it if you fucking check the fandom on Twitter.
Well, it's Twitter, right? But yeah,
Well,
that's
it's weird.
It's weird. When you pointed it out,
Weird.
I went and looked at it, and it's like like you said, it's a reverse troll campaign, and
It really feels artificial because
Yeah.
this tweet right here, Gary. Look at this, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna bring it up on EFAP next time. House of the Dragon fans be like, "quote Oh my god, this is my favorite show. I hate everything about it." And it's got like 10K likes. Because if you don't know, there is a shit ton of viral criticism for House of the Dragon season 2 to the point where like it has flattened any viral tweets that are praising the show.
It's like it's weird because there is like a significant like fan cam stan weirdo pronoun and bios like the same ones that always rise to the surface when we talk about literally any show, because that's primarily the majority of people that are like using fucking social media to post like stuff like this. There's been a lot for House of the Dragon. There's been some positive, but there's a lot negative too.
Just
But
some weird shit, man. Usually like people making fun of Ewan Mitchell's acting.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's like I don't know how you could say the dude literally captivates when he's on screen anytime.
Yes,
people shit on like the dragon designs. Some of them, Vagar included.
That's
that's
retarded.
Weird.
That's retarded.
There was like about half of the tweets that you see about it going viral are like fucking like awesome, and I like them and I bookmark them, and then half of them were like, "Are you fucking high or retarded or both?"
The dragon design one is ridiculous.
I do think any commentary online is going to tend negative, though, because the people that like the show, they just wait for the next episode.
Yeah.
They don't feel the need to go out and talk about it on social media all the time, whereas the negative people have more of an impetus to make comments about it.
What I expect is almost like annoying praise of the show, where it's just like, oh my god, everything's amazing, everything, oh my god. You know, they've been doing it with Daenerys lately. I don't know if you've seen posts like this saying, can't believe they try to take Daenerys from us, try to make her seem horrible, but we know our queen is incredible. Stuff like that. And every time I see them, I'm just like, who is this for? Like, what's going on? You know, cringe praise. That's what I expect to see, but I haven't seen as much of it for House of Dragon. I have seen what you're talking about, those fan cams and stuff, but man, the anger towards season 2, I didn't expect it at all.
I think it's because this is what I'll say, for a lot of those people, they get so like personally invested in the same people that like went to Kristen Cole, the actor who plays Kristen Cole, like his Instagram page. Like a lot of them very much are like identifying and acting things out as if the characters are real.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't believe that Alicent was doing this while everyone's dying and shit like that. Like legitimate like fury about it.
So
so I think that's where some of that shit comes from as well.
Without spoiling anything, do not name your daughters after Rhaenyra. Don't do it.
Yeah,
has
the same ones that got burnt by doing it after Daenerys.
Yeah,
probably don't do it after
Rhaenyra. I wouldn't do it.
The reason why that happens is when they say, I see myself in the character, they literally mean that. They put themselves in the position of the character, so it is personal to them. They can't put themselves into somebody else's shoes, and so if their character gets attacked, it has the same impact as if you'd done it to them in real life. So they have that same...
Well, how about the full... I mean, this is Rings of Power, but how... And you tweeted this, Disparu. The full-grown man who went to the Rings of Power panel and asked if there was going to be any LGBTQ plus representation in the Rings of Power, which would be antithetical to anything Tolkien ever fucking believed. And there's no argument against that. It wouldn't exist in his world. And they said, you've already seen one.
Yes.
Maybe there already
is one. And I heard there was.
Like he literally said him and Sauron move in together. And like even the comments were like, wait, what? But that was very weirdly done anyway, because they were like, we just have time for one more question. And that was the question.
Yeah. Oddly timed.
Yeah.
And the truth surrounding House of the Dragon is there's more people watching this show than there is virtually any other show out there
right now. Yeah.
Like, period. So there's just a lot more discussion than like for something like The Acolyte.
But if you go to the Free Folk memes are pretty fucking good still. They're solid.
There's a lot of great memes out there.
Did half of the episode leak or the whole thing?
As far as I know, it was the whole thing, but I
haven't looked for any of that, and I haven't seen any spoilers.
Yeah, I'm not even looking. I'm gonna wait.
There's a meme out there like me trying to avoid episode 8 spoilers, and it's Aemond with another patch on his eye.
From what I understand, I think 80% of the episodes split up into 1 minute pieces is all over TikTok. That's what happened.
Oh well, it's on TikTok, so no danger of me seeing it.
Arguably, well, so not just that guy, but it's arguably the worst fucking format for release.
No context
at all. Right?
It's horrific, and they've said like, listen, just knuckle down and wait, and we'll release it as per usual. Just don't view it that way, because I've seen people say like, where the fuck is the actual like leaked torrent? People saying shit like that. It's like, you go fucking fetch it all over TikTok if you want it.
Yep. The odd one, 1993 for $49.99. After watching every Boogie video on YouTube, I've concluded Mahler should be Boogie's official historian. Shad, if you want anyone to watch the 2015 Cinderella, tell them it's directed by Kenneth Branagh. Oh, is it? I'm still not going to fucking watch it, but I'll watch Thor again.
I'm telling you, stop sleeping on it. You'll thank me after you watch it.
I'm going to sleep on
it.
Yeah.
You've seen it, haven't you, Mahler?
You might even convince Mahler to do an EFAP on it. No, I don't think so.
Wait, hang on. Just because, like, there are other films that are probably worth seeing before Cinderella, right, Shad?
This is a great one. It's up there.
Man from U.N.C.L.E.
It's a great film.
It's last time I checked, it was number 4 on Netflix. Guy Ritchie movie. Henry Cavill and Armie Hammer, the man eater, or woman eater, or human eater.
He's a man eater.
Yeah, great movie. Great movie.
I remember seeing that at cinema and liked it, and it was.
Yep.
I had no idea who Henry Cavill was at the time. So when you actually know him from other stuff, you're like, oh, it was in that. It was strange, but yeah, it's a great movie.
Yep.
That was one of the things where it's like, no, you should have just been Bond.
Yeah.
Gary, you did just say I will sleep on Cinderella before.
Yeah.
After we fuck. That's what he meant.
Yeah.
Got your Prince Charming. Is it Prince Charming? Cinderella?
Yeah.
Is that Cinderella? Or is that Sleeping Beauty?
Maybe.
I don't fucking know.
Prince Albert.
They give him a name.
I'm not gay. I don't watch
They give
these
him a
movies.
name and a character in this one. His name is Kit in the system.
Kenneth Branagh did a great job with Thor, the first Thor movie.
He renamed the Prince Kit after himself, Kenneth. We see what you did there, Branagh.
John Underwood has donated $99.99 to watch away. Thank you, John. Spelled properly, Jon. Don't need that stupid H in there.
John.
Gonna pitch off a lot of Johns now. That's like the other R in Gary. Makes no sense. I make it Gary.
Gary.
Weston, 47 for $5. Definitely need the Mahler popcorn bucket. I think we all do. Mahler?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look
You see the clip of Harrison Ford being shown the Deadpool popcorn bucket? Yeah.
Could you find it?
I'm looking.
All right.
It's not that great, but he's just like, do you know anything about the popcorn bucket? He's like, no. and they're like, yeah, let's show him. He's like, what, do you want to have one of you like that? I think I'll pass, but thank you for the opportunity. Like he keeps saying that to people. Thank you for the opportunity, when he really means I don't give a fuck about any of this.
I think the popcorn bucket idea is like the first decent idea Hollywood has had to try to get people to theaters in a long time. And it's so simple. It's so fucking simple.
Yeah, like I'm literally never going to use this ever for anything other than fucking, right? But I have it. Like I got it. I really wanted it.
But they're a pain to clean. I've heard.
They really are. I'm hoping
You've heard,
so
huh?
many tentacles.
Yeah.
Yeah, friend told it.
Okay. Rebel Moon, there's the extended tentacle sex scene. I forgot to talk about that because it was so important for the character.
Yeah, deep throat tentacles.
Yeah.
scene.
Wow. Is it sex or is it like nourishing him or something? Like,
No, he's fucking
sex.
it. He is fucking that thing.
He's fucking that thing.
You can ask the other guy if he wants to join.
Yeah, he does. And then he has
smokes right after.
No, he has a vape that he shoots directly into his lungs. So it's like a device that shoots directly into his lungs, then he exhales the smoke.
Why is that even better, though?
You heard it in Chrissy's very insightful interview. It doesn't matter. It's science fantasy. We don't care about any of that. There's no science in it. There's no thought put into it.
No, in the first movie, it did look as if... In fact, I think it suggested that was healing him, and he was like plugging in like electricity, because I think you saw one of his wounds close.
Yeah.
And now it's like, no, it was just vaping.
It was just
So it's actually downgraded across the movies.
just vaping. The artist for $20 says, shout out to Disparu. You're doing great, buddy. What is one movie/show you'd like to see made in the near future that is not on anyone else's mind at the moment? Something completely different. For example, a new Buffy movie.
Oh, well.
It's really hard to suggest a movie or TV show that's not on anyone's mind, because it would have to be on my mind.
Yeah, the one person where it probably is on his mind would be Shad, and it's the ones I'm looking forward to, but also dreading. It's the Brandon Sanderson stuff, which he's in studios at the moment. I still don't think we know what it is, but if it is Mistborn, I think they would make great movies.
Okay.
Yes.
Is he involved? Is he involved?
Yes.
Yes.
And
the reason why they... Sorry, do you want to...
He's also got like the Stormlight Saga, which he said he's not going to allow to be made until he's got enough script writing experience to write some of the stuff himself. Yeah. So...
and at his rate, that could be next week, by the way.
Well, but at least his most important stuff is reserved. Yeah. But I don't know about the rest.
This board's pretty important, though.
Yeah, it is. He's written most of the script for the most recent attempts to get it adapted, and the reason why the project hasn't gotten off the ground is because he's demanding so much control and oversight. So friggin' good on him, because you need to, and so that does mean that it's still been kind of, rocky as to how guaranteed those films will be. But he's been having a lot of conversations with the people in Hollywood about it.
Good.
And he did say that because his kick, like people were coming to him before and they were like, well, we've got these ideas, we just need your permission, and then we'll go and try and get money for it and stuff. After his Kickstarter, that changed, and people started coming to him, and they'd already got the funding and stuff, and they were kind of after his permission. So he said he got more leverage there from that thing. So
his
the more
Kickstarter
successful
was
he
ridiculous.
is, the more power he
Yes.
has.
Man, I almost think that he could almost fund it himself. He is getting that big with this stuff.
I mean, he does have original ideas, like his Kickstarter stuff, the way he did it over a year. Getting the leather-bound permissions because they refused to do it, but he was like, well, I can do it on my own thing. So he does have a lot of business sense in that one. And just off the top of my head, the one thing that nobody else is probably thinking of, but I've always thought would make a good idea, is a Deus Ex movie. I've always thought the first game would make an incredible movie.
But I was going to say Neuromancer, the original novel that kind of started a lot of the cyberpunk stuff. I always thought would be it's a heist book. It's all about cyberpunk and that night city, all that underground dingy rain. I love that stuff. If they do it now, it'd be kind of hard because all the stuff that they started would be like tropes at this point, and it would feel like they're rehashing.
Well, they've actually tried making a movie off of Neuromancer for a number of years, and it's never
it's
taken
kind
off.
of it's in that kind of Dune hell production phase, but I always thought that would be a cool
I mean, that would be great. I mean, we got Altered Carbon, which is pretty damn close. It's too
Pretty
bad
close.
season 2
it's a good book too.
fucking sucked. Yeah. Oh, dude, this book series is fantastic. And even the Neuromancer series is fucking fantastic as well.
Rip it out of Disney's hands, and somebody British and funny make Hitchhiker.
Oh yeah.
Yes, that would be a good thing.
What did you think of the one that they did? Like, was it the 2010s?
The movie?
Yeah,
it's a fucking abomination.
I love it.
It's a TV
fucking
series.
terrible. The TV series is great from the
TV
BBC.
series is great.
Alan Rickman as Marvin is great. Everybody else sucked. Zaphod sucked. Ford Prefect, played by Mos Def or whatever the fuck that. He's my favorite character. Fuck that. That was terrible. It was fucking awful. Martin Freeman is fine as Arthur Dent. He was fine.
Martin's good.
Yeah, he's good.
You've also got as a TV series the Demon Cycle books. They would make an incredible TV series. It's just all battles and people fighting for their lives in sort of a post-apocalyptic thing where they've forgotten the technology to fight the demons, so they're trying to recover it while the demons are also. There's other stories about why it's happened. It's a great series of books.
John Getz for $10 says, watching old Game of Thrones and this Tywin line rebuts so many modern writers' arguments. I don't distrust you because you're a woman. I distrust you because you're not nearly as clever as you think you are. Ah, the good old days, Mahler.
Yeah, when he's talking to Cersei, he fucked her up. He fucked up everybody he ever shared a scene with, and it wasn't arbitrary. The writers knew what they were fucking doing with
They
Tywin.
knew what they were doing.
It's a common sentiment, but that Game of Thrones died literally with the scene he died in.
Yes, and I have been so tempted to go back and watch it again, which I refuse to do because I watched a couple of clips on YouTube, and now all of my recommendations are Game of Thrones clips. So.
Like I probably rewatch it every like 6 months or so, but whenever I go back to like start a rewatch, I always end up somewhere in the middle of season 5 is where I left off.
Yeah, where you just go.
Because it's just at that point I'm like,
leave it hard home, just go. That's it.
Yeah.
Nick Brony for $1.99 says sound is highly organized. We are a highly organized show, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, progress, not perfection. Progress, not perfection. Pretty soon we'll get back to progress.
I was going to say, when you start muted.
When you start muted.
My bad.
Yeah. It's like, make sure at least I do it. I'm like, for one, I'm checking. I'm like, I must have hit the button.
I know. I'm checking like 5 things. I'm like, okay, wait. Are you muted here,
No.
or here, or there, or there?
I mean,
it was there.
I would do a checklist.
My bad.
That's what I did. I have a checklist. And I still miss half the shit on it. So it was kind of useless, but whatever. Eric K for $5. Mahler spoils everything. Waterloo, Napoleon lost. What the heck, man? Spoiler on everything. Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't talk back for $5. Quarter DEI Garrett. Yes. I'm surrounded by diversity hires. What can I say? Josh Kelsey for $19.99. He just drops it and walks away because that's what Josh does. Thank you, Josh. James Lamando for $2 says, I love my FNT hat that I got at San Diego Comic-Con. Hey, it was great talking to you at San Diego Comic-Con. You know what's funny is the only Star Wars display at Comic-Con was the costumes for the Acolyte. And then they played Acolyte footage behind that, and everybody was clowning it, including, but not limited to, people in the entertainment industry and people who worked at Disney, which is fucking funny. So you see all these stands out there. By the way, hashtag renew the Acolyte. Let's make this shit happen. Let's fucking go. Get out there right now. But people within Disney were clowning it and knew it was shit.
That's hilarious. Pretty
high up people at Disney, which is, if that ever gets out someday, that would be the funniest thing you've ever heard. But yeah, it's sad. No Star Wars at Comic-Con, like none. When everybody was back, DC, you understand because they were kind of like in the middle of filming Superman. But yeah, Rinsler lives for $5. Mahler, the void in Loki and Deadpool is outside of time and not at the end of time. You're thinking of the Citadel where He Who Remains is.
I thought it was the reverse. Because the Citadel, he has ultimate control of everything. And isn't the Citadel in the void?
I have no idea.
In Loki season 1, I'm pretty sure they have to travel past Elias.
After he gets burnt or whatever they call it, he
groomed.
That's when groomed.
No, I thought he gets sent back.
He gets pruned into the void, which, as far as I was aware, was the end of time.
You're gonna have to go back and watch it now.
End of time. I will.
Loki's
no,
bro.
I gotta go fucking find the reference because I get caught up on all of these things. Autism, you know. But I was gonna say you have to find. I'm pretty sure that is the end of time. It's like the dustbin of the universe, and Elias just eats everything. But to get to the Citadel, if it's called that, where Kang is, they had to get past Elias, and classic Loki is the one that distracts him so that they can.
Yep.
I think that's what happens. I'll have to check about it again.
That's how I remember it happening in the show I watched 2 years ago.
Which is why, like I said, it doesn't make sense. Like, I already have plenty of issues with Cassandra, but the idea that she wants to destroy all timelines just so the void is left, you can't even do that if the void is a part of the timelines. It's not a separate thing.
Yeah, the TVA is outside of the timelines.
Yep.
Itself.
Oh, I was hoping Deadpool would destroy the TVA.
That would have been so much better, dude.
They made a machine that could have done it.
Set off the machine in the TVA universe and just nuke everything.
Echoes.
Yeah, and then all the characters are like, wait, what does this mean? It's like the universes are just, they exist. And that's
separate. That traveling between them is really hard now, and it takes something crazy to happen, because you could still have the occasional kind of multiverse, crack open up between places. But now TVA is just so freaking easy, and it's a hand wave piece of bullcrap. They just get the device, suddenly you can move to any point in time without any problem or difficulty, and any universe. It's insane.
No, the MCU being the 616 is the most is a slap in the face to all comic book fans. That's all it is. It's somehow they're supposed to occupy the same space, or no, your comics are not. I mean, it's the movies have usurped the comics, and we knew that would happen. And fuck that.
It's so unnecessary. They didn't need to do that at all.
The weird thing is, the CW always the Arrowverse went through this, and they actually destroyed all the other universes. They did shrink them all into one universe, where because at first it was like, you only travel to one where Barry Allen, something goes wrong with his powers, he runs too fast, and so he teleports accidentally. But then it came to the point where everyone was swapping back and forth all the time at will, and then they just dismantled everything and just put them in the same universe because it was getting stupid. So it's like,
they had Crisis on Infinite Earths in the Arrowverse,
Yes, they did.
It's like, so if the Arrowverse can realize the problem and then solve it, you can question what the movie's called.
I saw the funniest clip, the reaction to Robert Downey Jr.'s salary. They're like, what Avengers 5 is going to look like after they pay Robert Downey Jr. and the Russo brothers. And it was that famous clip from Supergirl, with Martian Manhunter and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That looked so fucking horrible special effects where she does the slow motion dive to get the bullet and everything.
Well, do you remember the clip that went viral in one of the last seasons of The Flash where they're trying to kill each other with lightsabers?
Yes.
What the fuck? What
Oh yeah, Madara like the speed
That
force.
happened.
Yeah,
I was
lightsabers.
so into the Arrowverse for those first couple of years.
Yeah,
man.
me too.
Like I was so invested.
The first two seasons of Arrow are solid. Are
They're fucking
really
awesome.
good. Yeah.
It's like I really dig the first two seasons of Arrow. The first couple seasons of Flash are they're different tonally, but they're also fantastic.
Then one of the writers got me too.
Branched out all these shows. I'm like, okay, I'm into it. And finally, I'm like watching 5 of these shows a fucking week. It seems like, and I'm like, this is just too much. And then Superhero does a trans person. I'm like, I sat through the Black Lives Matter shit. I sat through the immigration allegories. I can't handle this fucking trans shit. I was out.
Yeah, there was no touching without consent. Was a legitimately aligned Supergirl, and it literally was 5 series because when they did a crossover, every day had a separate TV series, so there was,
you had to watch
fill
all
the
of
entire
them.
week.
Yeah, because you had Legends of Tomorrow. You had Supergirl. What was
Black Lightning?
I don't know if Black Lightning did ever bring them into that one.
I don't think they did. No, I think it was in a separate universe.
He was in the crossover episodes, but yeah, he didn't really join the normal TV series that much.
Yeah, like we got enough black guys here. You're good.
Well, my favorite was when Martian Manhunter decided that he had technology that could turn what was it, his car into a spaceship and fly off and stuff. And it could change sizes and all kinds of stuff. Like at no point thought maybe that's technology would be really useful to the humans that are on the planet.
Yeah, like the first 3 seasons, maybe you could have told us something about this. Thanks.
Yeah, it's like just imagine the use for medicine. You can literally turn anything into tiny little things and then go inside the human body and source. No, I'm just going to change my car into a spaceship.
Can't imagine why that network never turned a profit, never made a dime. Griffin Nizzle for $10. Anyone notice the soy boy that made white dudes for Harris look like the slightly less gay Gary? Is that one of? Is that there were? Yeah, there were some pictures of like my variant is a white dude for Harris, and it was just a guy with a beard and glasses. It's like less gay.
It's just like you all look the same.
We all look the same.
Welcome to the club.
Oh yeah, that's my variant right there.
Oh damn!
Looks like you got a man bun too.
It's got a man bun.
Soy Gary.
Yikes.
Looks like his house looks like his parents' house was put together by IKEA. Yeah, checks out. It's bad.
Bookshelf of things he's never read.
Bookshelf of things he's never read. North of the Rockies for $10 says, Gary, you forgot to mention last time that when pineapple pizza was made during the Song of Creation, Morgoth tried to recreate it, but it became corrupted and turned into Vegemite. You're right. I left that out. That's actually in the Silmarillion. Okay. So that's there. Pineapple.
Yeah, I could accept that. You need to be pretty hardcore to enjoy some Vegemite.
You do. Is that video ever going to come out?
What, of you eating Vegemite?
Yeah, did you put that out?
It is out.
Yeah, that's been out for like,
yeah.
I guess
where everyone but you liked it. Yes, that's out.
I watched it. I'll go back and like it. Sorry.
Wait, you watched it? You asked whether it was out.
I watched it. I saw a version of it before he put it out. I was there. I was fucking there.
He watched it through his own
He was
eyes.
there. Okay, got it.
Go to Night's Watch, type in Vegemite, you'll find it. And X-Ray Girl liked it. Garrett liked it. You know, it's how you make it.
My wife. Yeah.
Your wife liked it.
All I had was knives in my back. That's all I had. Walked out of there like fucking Caesar, man. Echoes of the Ancients for $5 is given a super sticker. Thank you very much. Shindu Versus for $9.99. Hail Friday Night Tights. Also, Gary, it's pronounced Shindo. Well, then fucking spell it that way. No, I'm just kidding. By the way, it's Shindo Versus. Do I look Asian? Okay, that's for X-Ray Girl to handle. I heard Mahler loved Deadpool and Wolverine. I did too. Gave it an infinity out of 10.
Yeah,
that's good to hear.
Best one.
I was worried he'd be angry at the blatant plot holes.
No, I loved all of it. The excellent characterization, top-notch plotting, the theme that was entirely consequential and coherent. just oh god, beautiful work ultimately, yeah. And it fits right into the world of the MCU, and I mean that statement.
Oh yeah, the presence
It had
of
Blade
anchor
in it.
beings, like and the fact that Marvel is so consistent that in Multiverse of Madness, where one character, if from another universe goes to another universe, that universe will die. They were very consistent with just the rules that they established about the multiverse.
Absolutely.
Realistic Delinquent for $6.99 Canadian. Got X-Ray Ghoul and some Dead Guy plushies last weekend. Had Gary the Brown and Mubler 2. Mueller. Would EFAP talk to Nuxanor? Who's Nuxanor?
Don't know, but sure.
Nuxanor? Is it X pronounced with a Z? I don't know. The Jewish It's a Gundam? There's a Jewish It's a Gundam?
Oh my god.
Oh, I need to find that channel.
They might be talking about the creator that does the show with Some Ordinary Podcast. It's like Oompaville and Mudahar and Nuxor, I think is the guy.
Okay.
I can only imagine a Jewish Gundam.
A Jewish
Oy
It's a
vey,
Oi.
I'm slapping all over.
It's probably just It's a Gundam. Okay, it's probably the same.
He's diversifying.
Mike Rochburns for 10.
Can you say it all together?
Rochburns.
Rochburns?
No, say the first and last name.
Oh.
I get it.
Mike
Rochburns. Oh, I get it. That's good. You got me. I love it. What's the and you know, coincidentally, it burns a little bit right now. What's the difference between? Well, I went to Comic-Con, so
TMI.
What's the difference between a lentil?
Oh, you doing a Comic-Con, Gary?
Garrett,
That's not how that's
Too many tacos.
It wasn't me.
Too many.
Hall H.
Too many. Yes, Hall H. It was sitting down in a chair in Hall H. That's exactly what it did.
Just pick it up.
What's the difference between lentil and a chickpea? You don't have to pay $50 to have a lentil on your chest.
Wow.
Great.
Classy.
Green Jack for £5 British pounds, proper money. Just finished my Rings of Power review and nearing 200 subs. Congrats. Couldn't have done it without you awesome folks keeping me sane every week. Cheers, FNT. Cheers to you. Congrats. Well done. Well done. We got a supercut coming out, right, Garrett?
Yeah, you.
Pretty soon. Actually, probably should release it in a couple weeks. That's a beat by.
Oh, it's ready to go whenever.
It's ready to go whenever? Awesome.
Nice.
A supercut is a good idea.
Yeah, it worked out.
Thanks, Wi-Fi.
I think it's a good idea. You know?
Joe, $1.99. Hi, Mahler. When will you cover Hello Guido next?
Wait, who?
Says Guido.
Hello, Guido.
Is that like a
But he's
Jersey
saying
Shore
Guido.
Because
Like
Harrison Ford
Harrison
and
Ford, yeah.
Guido.
Yeah.
It all comes together.
Yeah, we haven't covered him forever. Hello, Greedo. He hasn't done anything overtly cringe. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well,
So,
it has
I
a
don't
name
know.
I have not heard in a long
I
time.
haven't heard in a while. Yeah.
Yes.
A long time.
BS Warren for $5. What's cracking, crew? I'm tabling at con tomorrow for the first time. Tips? Quarterback Garrett. I already know nudity is prohibited.
Well, that's just because you're afraid.
Yeah.
Coward.
Chicken. Roger Soul, the 3, has gifted 5 Nerdrotic memberships for $25. Thank you very much. Nick XH for 5 British pounds says, I could barely get through the first episode of The Woke Crusader. Once they showed Drag Penguin, I'm out. Nothing could ever beat Batman the Animated Series.
So bad.
I can't.
It was such a cheap imitation. It's like I got through the first episode. I was like, this show is just boring and uninteresting.
Like, why?
Yeah.
I
There was
know
no- there
why.
was
It's
no
for the
purpose to that.
But yeah, it's for DI diversity or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's just such a dumb choice. So unneeded.
It's not like Batman doesn't have any females in his rogues gallery. I mean,
No.
just
This
gender
is
swapping Penguin is idiotic.
I don't
The
think they did
weirdest part
gender
was everyone
swap.
finding her attractive. That was the strange.
That
That was
funny.
really, really a push.
She like murders both her kids in the first episode. Like, what? Great mom.
Ender for $1.99. Petition for Shad to stop eating for 5 fucking minutes.
I've been muting myself throughout the entire thing while I've been eating. I've been a good boy this episode.
I also found out this is like 5 a.m. for you. You
Exactly.
said on the other day.
I don't have breakfast. I wake up and I come on, so I need to eat something to keep me going.
I thought it was bad for me, but I wouldn't be here if it was 5 a.m. It's like, I'd never get up that early.
5 a.m. Whew.
Yeah, staying up late way easier than getting up early.
Yeah.
Zicko for 500 RSDs. What's an RSD? Martian peso. Thank you. Hey, friends, what do you think about 2 female fighters with XY chromosomes beating a plebeian double X chromosome women in the Olympics? First set of gold medals for domestic abusers. So brave and stunning. Yeah. Well, Ryan could answer this one.
Yeah, I've been covering this on Sports Wars, obviously. 2 fighters who failed the International Boxing Association's gender test. They revealed not only to have elevated testosterone, but according to the IBA, basically the biggest boxing federation in the world, they declared them essentially that they had XY chromosomes and that they were masquerading as women. The IOC, International Olympic Committee, is not bound by the IBA. They use their own set of rules and have for the past 2 years. They allowed them to compete, and we saw them both dominate against biological women in the ring. So we'll see how that goes. And for anybody if anyone's like on a stream or whatever, you don't normally talk about it, you happen to cover this. If you play like 5 seconds of Olympic stuff, they will fucking copyright block your shit. Not because you're being targeted, not because, I spoke out against the man. No, because that is just how specifically NBC Universal, the owners of the copyright stuff, the IOC, they are just very copyright heavy.
Yes.
When it comes to sports, that's just the way it is. MLB is very similar. So you just got to be careful with that stuff.
Roger Soul 3 for 5 British pounds, proper money. Have some money. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's proper money. It's British pounds. Although proper money is kind of less valuable these days after the stock market's performance.
Oh, man.
Exactly why I don't own stock. Still affects your money in the bank, though. Certainly does. The Singing Tigs for $10. The Always Angry Ryan, Mommy Milker Chrissy, Throat Goat X-Ray, Plays with Swords Shad, 3/4 White Garrett, Leslie Desk Milk Disparu, Leslie Desk Milk Disparu.
You drink milk once on a stream, it follows you for life.
Yes, it does.
I didn't know drinking milk was so bizarre until I was carried on mentioning it for the rest of time.
Yeah, he's British, okay?
He keeps it at his desk because he's too lazy to go to
This is where I'm
on the refrigerator.
You have milk? Wow.
Why would I go to the refrigerator every time I wanted a drink when I could just sit here?
There you go.
The lover. How fast do people think milk
depends
goes
how
off?
long you keep the milk out, I guess.
Yeah.
Wait.
Is it like room temp milk?
Well, I'm English. Everything's room temp. I drink beer room temp and everything else.
Okay, he does not speak for us.
Is wrong.
Okay.
you go into a pub. Where do you think the beer is? It's just in the cellar. It's not chilled. It's
Bro, I have a
literally room
cooler.
temperature.
I don't want my drinks.
I don't
even
know,
want my
Mauler.
water room temperature.
Mahler, your country just discovered ceiling fans and air conditioning this year. Okay.
Hey, do you guys even have
That
ice
was
cubes
genuinely.
there?
I was gonna say I'm also an interdimensional being. I have aircon. I can't call myself British anymore.
Yeah.
When I was like,
Yeah, that's a good question, Ryan. Do you guys have
Welsh
do you have coolers there? Like portable coolers?
You carry around a 6-pack.
He
No,
doesn't
they
even know what
fucking
you're
just keep
saying.
it in their backpacks and they drink it warm.
Jesus.
Like, fuck.
Heathens.
savages.
I keep it in a lamb's
No.
bladder.
Ever be drinking milk that's
Room
not
temperature.
The
No,
only
you
time
know
you should ever
why?
be drinking milk that's not cold is on Christmas when you fucking put it out with your kids, and then an hour later after they go to bed, you come back and you fucking drink it. That is
Wow,
as long as you
spoilers.
should fucking leave it
Yeah,
out.
but they have was it irradiated milk? So I mean,
if you have,
it keeps
if you have
it room
kids who don't know that
temperature
shit watching
indefinitely.
this, there's a
I
problem.
don't know. They're British. Their country's half freezing anyway, and so their room temperature is already half chilled. So I think that's.
It's not at the moment. I am dying in this heat.
Oh yeah, what's the temperature
don't-
over there?
don't-
Call
don't
it
tell
heat.
him.
Go on,
What is
go
it?
on.
What is it?
I actually don't know what it is.
It's
at the
like
moment.
98
I just know
degrees
I'm
here.
melting.
What's it-
Literally,
107. All right, and it was nice.
Yeah,
I don't know what stream it was on, but I mentioned how British people are built like ghosts. You have to understand, the sun goes straight through us and kills us. So we have to.
Yeah, we have a cold front. We're under 100 degrees Fahrenheit here. So
yeah, it's August. Normally, it's like always over 100 degrees in August.
110 or something.
Yeah, it's insane.
Nice.
August is awful here.
So the rest of this is the lover of long things Mahler, best group of retards on. I'm gonna just say the whole word on Friday. Thank you, I appreciate that. We are amongst friends. Victor Kiss for 2,000 Huffington Posts. I have tuned in late, so I was not sure what movie you are talking about. Don't worry, we're the only ones who watched it. We're the only ones who watched it.
In the whole world.
And then you started talking about grain. I immediately knew it was Moon Rebel. That's it. Moon Rebel. Moon Rebel. Remember, stay angry for $5. What did everyone think of the Epic Universe Ministry of Magic preview? I thought it looked fucking awesome.
Oh, dude, that ride looks sick.
Ryan's
and it's just the
gone.
queue. It's just the line to get into the ride. It looks freaking so cool.
Yeah, everything about that looks fucking cool. Ministry of Magic, holy shit.
Can't wait to take my kids.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Christoph Brannigan for €2. Great stuff, Chrissy. Sack Zach the Hack. Yeah, I think he's lost some of... I mean, there's a certain amount of Snydercut fans who are going to defend him no matter what, but like, this is a slap in the face to them. This whole fake ass director's cut bullshit final vision.
It's going to annihilate the sort of Snyder fan base gradually because you can't get passionate about Rebel Moon.
No,
it's so embarrassing. It's just like, So it's not keeping them going. There's no momentum anymore. It's really relying on, because I still see posts every once in a while of like Henry Cavill Superman being, bring back the Snyderverse. But instead of maybe 20K likes, 10K likes, now it's down to like 500.
Yeah.
Like, well,
It's also like at this point, it's like once James Gunn came in, all that was thrown out. Like,
yeah.
And that's just there's a couple people that will still like hang on to that and say, oh, it could happen. It can't happen. Like,
no,
it's done.
Everybody was going. They were going to do a hard reset, and that was always going to happen.
I'm for Cavill for Wolverine now. Let's
I
move
am
on
too.
to that.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Like his one fucking line was like a better Wolverine voice than Hugh Jackman has ever done in his life. I think.
Bub.
Wow.
What do you think?
I thought it was really good.
I'm talking like the way we feel that Wolverine like should typically be portrayed.
I think he would be I think he would be a perfect recast. Absolutely. Hugh Jackman's Wolverine belongs with Fox. Absolutely belongs with Fox. If you're Marvel of 2008, Phase 1 Marvel, that's the Wolverine you cast when you want to be as close as possible to the comics. Okay, too tall, but that's fine.
They can't even be recasting him yet because they're still going to squeeze Hugh Jackman for a few more films, more than likely.
Until he's 90.
Well, they didn't announce an X-Men film. They've owned the rights to the X-Men for quite some time. Now, I did hear there was some rights
He said it's... Well, didn't Feige at Comic-Con say that's coming after Secret Wars?
I think so. I mean, it would make sense.
Mutants are coming after Secret Wars.
Obviously, it's coming after Secret Wars because they didn't announce any X-Men. But you're right. Yeah, that's going to come after Secret Wars, where I think they do a soft reboot. They carry some people over and start over again. That'd be my guess.
How do you reckon they're going to do that soft reboot? Like back in time, restructure universe?
Well, with the
Secret really Jackman is going to be. They care so little about continuity; it doesn't matter. It could be as simple as
if they do the 2015 Secret Wars, that's how they can do it.
That's how they do it. They meld worlds.
Yes.
Yeah.
People
Hugh
are like
Jackman is Xavier.
People are like Cavill's too old to play Wolverine. Hugh Jackman's 15 years older than me. Literally just played Wolverine.
Yeah,
that's true.
Well, is that's actually a fair point though? Are both of them too old to play Wolverine when you kind of want to get an actor who can be more physical? It would be preferable to have someone who can do the jumping around, angrily fucking flailing around. I guess
the truth is none of these people do their shit anyway. Like, you know what I mean?
And I kind of want Wolverine to be a little older and grizzled. I don't want him to be young.
Agreed.
I don't know, man.
He's not young.
I want the ferocity. It doesn't matter about the age.
Yeah.
Harukami for £2 The worst cut. I agree. And I only saw part 1. Big.
People also said Henry Cavill's too tall. He's literally the same exact height as Hugh Jackman.
Yes.
To be fair, people found an issue with that as well, right?
Yeah.
They did. Oh, yeah.
Initially, yeah.
Initially, absolutely.
They got over it.
But the comic accurate one.
As we
can see, Tom Cruise.
They can do it.
Big Ounce for $10 says, hail the chat, hail FNT, hail EFAP. I am going out to see Deadpool and Wolverine for my birthday, and another great gift I got today was seeing Xander Hall being slammed. Life is good. Who's Xander Hall?
He's the one that the DMs recently came out where he was desperate to kill Caffles.
Oh, okay. We were talking about that. I was like, all right.
That'll be on another random drama EFAP.
Yeah.
No, we ain't fucking covering that one. We might cover those DMs briefly, but like, he's always been. I think Dev called them crumb tubers, where they're just like
instead of bread tubers.
Yeah, the remains of bread. Yeah,
they're desperately trying to have some kind of
That's
career.
hilarious.
And the thing is, he's broken up with like all of his friends. He's got barely any connections left. And like, was it this stream we were talking about? I'd mentioned he didn't put his money in a bank. He put it in PayPal, and that was it. Like,
wow.
Brilliant. He had lots of it stolen. I don't even want to begin. The story of Xanderhall is hilarious. He's the one, by the way, Gary, who said after the first 2 episodes of Rings of Power came out, he can't wait for the remaining 48 hours of the season.
That's where I know that name.
I remember the comment.
Yes.
Yeah. And he was like, "Oh, I made one mistake." I was like, "That's the kind of mistake
That's a big mistake.
50-hour season. What?"
We all make mistakes, and
even in the glory days of like Stargate and everything, where they'd have 22 episode series, it's like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and he did an IQ test. I think it was 93. He was like, "Oh, it's not the greatest result." Word of advice to everybody: probably don't do an IQ test on a stream.
Damn Twomley for $1.99. Has Gary dyed his beard? Are you talking about that picture? Because I would never fucking do that. I will go full gray beard before I do something that gay.
Dude, it always looks better to go gray than to artificially try and remain full. Like
I'm not Billy Mays, the late great Billy Mays. No fucking way, ever. Albert, not a retro for 20 Canadian pesos. Thank you. Like I said on Tuesday night's main event, I almost said Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This will be the last time you folks hear from me for a bit. Between Az's success and Boogie's failings, I've decided to renew my efforts to get in shape. Oh, good.
Hey, nice.
That's awesome. Congrats, man. I'll drop update on the Real BBC and G&G Daily. Please do. Have fun. Get fit. Go do it. We believe in you. And remember, there's getting fit. You don't need to look like Adonis. There's getting fit. That's baby steps on that one. Just get to go.
Just being active is important.
Just being healthy. Yep.
And eat
healthy and active.
Healthy, even more than getting fit is what you eat.
I'll be the contrarian. Eat like shit and lay around all day. You'll be fat and happy.
You'll be just as happy as Ryan.
Or Boogie,
Or Boogie.
I'm in so much pain. I'm in so much pain. I'm in so much pain.
I also drink Mountain Dew Zero.
Oh my god.
That offsets all the McDonald's you eat. So.
Okay, Ryan. Well, he does that to self-harm, okay? So that's different.
He doesn't even like
I'm in so much pain. I'm in so much pain. I'm in so much pain.
I think Mountain Dew Zero will actually kill you faster than regular Mountain Dew.
No, it won't. It's
Gary,
just
one of the
chemicals.
things he said was that he's drinking that, so he doesn't need to drop that to aid in his diet. The people in the call were like, "You should probably stop drinking fucking Diet Mountain Dew because of the chemicals." And he went, "Oh, the chemicals! There's chemicals in water. I'm not allowed to drink water either."
H2O. Those are
And then he
chemicals.
said, "There's chemicals in the air. Oh no, the chemicals in the air are killing me." It was like,
I will
depends what they are.
Somewhat say like when people are talking about either diet soda or like 0 calorie whatever and the artificial stuff that's in it being like so super bad for you, you're talking about like you'd have to consume, and maybe Boogie does to be fair, but you'd have to consume insane fucking levels of that for it to have the effect on your metabolism or the increased risk for cancer that people are talking about. It's an insane amount. But
Boogie, both of those.
Boogie potentially, right? But for the average person, if you have like 2, it's no big deal at all.
In
moderation.
His documentary, right? So he to his fans was supposed to stop drinking it in as much, and he was trying to hide it. But in his documentary, in the background, you keep seeing empty cans just on windowsills.
Ryan's room.
in fucking all kinds of places. It became like a Where's Waldo type thing of just like, what the fuck? He's another one over there, and there, and there. They're all like supply pickups for when he moves around the house.
Does he have like Mountain Dew shampoo or something like that in his bathroom?
What?
And he
sponsored?
reviewed,
If you're a dude, especially a dude, if you're a dude, and you want to shed some pounds, like some initial pounds quickly, stop drinking soda altogether. No diet, no
soda
regular
and
soda,
juice.
soda and juice, anything. Just
You
stop
lose
drinking
like 10
that.
pounds.
Yes.
You'll have basically the same effect if you replace your shit with diet or with zero. Just saying it. Don't drink calories. That will lose you a fuck ton of weight. If
Alcohol.
you are consistently drinking a lot of calories.
Beer,
sodium too.
Alcohol, you can't cut that shit out. Okay.
Okay. Well,
You
then
can't
drink.
cut that
Okay.
out.
To whiskey.
Yeah, you should.
hard whiskey.
But go hard. Yeah. Do hard liquor.
Yeah,
Don't do
hard
beer.
liquor.
No beer.
Yeah, do vodka and vodka and whiskey, you'll be okay, right? 70, 80 calories.
Don't drink loaves of bread. That's essentially what you're doing.
Yes. That's
Thunderstorm for $4.99. I Snyder cut Friday Night Tights by turning my brightness setting to dark and true tone to 0 and turning out the lights and turning on a flashlight. And you got to set the speed. You got to slow the speed to like 75 to 50%. Then you have the true Snyder cut experience for FNT. There you go. Oh, and repeatedly beat yourself in the head. Just like punch yourself in the face. I had to follow that. Beat yourself in the head. I had to be specific. Okay.
In the face area.
In the face area. Amtrak Paul from San Francisco. Hey, it was great meeting you at the meetup. Thank you for gifting 5 Nerdrotic memberships. Hail, brother. Roger Soul 3 for 5 British pounds. I'm drunk. Thanks for letting us know. There.
Nice.
Cheers. There's meetings all across the country. You will be welcome at any time. You're obviously an alcoholic. Or no, you're obviously watching Friday Night Tights and you need it. Jay has gifted 5 Nerdrotic memberships for $25. Hail. Thank you very much. The Singing Tigs for $5. RDJ Doom is desperate. Hope they pull it off, but zero belief they will. Never need a comic book never read a comic book. Loved phases 1 through 3. I get my hero history from you figs. Hail. Hail to you for calling us figs, by the way. Zodlander for 20 Swedish krona. Orcs use their teeth as species-wide currency. Species-wide currency. Albert, not a retro for 10 Canadian pesos. Powerful women of television, Gary, without Linda Carter or Lindsay Wagner, but with Kate Mulgrew, who bullied Jerry Ryan for several seasons of Star Trek Voyager. Great role models indeed. Yeah, by the way, famously a complete cunt on the set, to where I might have talked to somebody who might have written on that show once and said, we were always trying to find ways to kill her off and just they wouldn't do it.
I wish they did.
Which
Voyager. They fucking hated
Voyager.
Kate Mulgrew. Couldn't stand her. They said she was such a fucking
Because she sucks.
diva on the set.
Wasn't it true? I heard that they always fell out with 7 of 9 because 7 of 9 was more attractive, and so she took a lot of the limelight off the captain.
Yeah, her tits took a lot of the yes. Yes.
It's like, yeah, you should be paying attention to me.
Yeah, I remember what her nickname back in the day was, like Barbie Board or something like that.
Yep. And it made me finish watching the show. Unapologetically. So it was kind of going nowhere. It was a great concept that they did nothing with. Go watch DS9, by the way.
I still enjoy Voyager.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's better than anything.
It's better than anything what we got now. That's for sure.
And there's some fun episodes. I do like.
Yeah,
except maybe the one where they break the speed limit and they evolve into a previous form of being or something.
Yeah,
and then they start breeding together. And just
that's famously one of the worst episodes. Well, that was famously one of the worst episodes of Star Trek ever until Kurtzman and Jar Jar Abrams started making Star Trek. Albert, not a retro for 10 Canadian pesos. Fantastic Four, where a closeted gay scientist is married to a smoking hot Bane. Probably Babe. Or Bane. I don't know.
I wasn't sure about that one.
If you're more interested in the negative zone than your wife's erogenous zone, you are gay. Now, Reed is very smart, and then he becomes smarter. Real time 1501 for 14 Zardozes. Did you see Mia Makova taking shots at Acolyte.
Yep.
Mia Makova. Help me
She's
out.
an adult star who said she's been in better Star Wars movies.
Oh, that's hilarious. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Star Wars, I think, is
Better
what she was in.
acted for sure.
And it probably has a better story. There you go. Thank you for letting me know. Shaka Zulu 12 for $20. All these modern reboots feel like straight necromancy, and always from creatives that once handled them with respect. You either die a hero or live long enough to become the modern reboot, the thing that made you great. Yeah, RTD, Bruce Timm, great examples of You Can't Go Home Again. Lauren N for $5. First time super chat, long time watcher guy. The FF set picks look more like Ricky and Lucy than Reed and Sue. Well, they're definitely going for the 60s look, and Vanessa Kirby is hot. Very, very hot. So she's going to make a very good Invisible Girl, but then she's with weird Pedro's rubbing the back of her arm. And
to be fair, there's like a lot of affection between them, like clearly in all of their fucking interviews. So
yes.
I don't think Pedro's being weird. I think they're just kind of close like that. Maybe they're fucking. Who knows?
Maybe they're banging. Yeah.
No,
which is good for chemistry.
To be fair, it was really fucking awkward how they rolled that whole thing out, because it felt rushed, and they didn't have anybody sitting behind a desk and taking questions. They were just they were basically contestants at a game show. They were brought out for 5 minutes, asked questions. They were read questions. Badly, by the way, and they're like, they have nowhere to put their hands. They're standing there like, now you think a performer would know how to deal with that, but there you go.
Yeah, like there's after, like even on the red carpet after, there was a video that was going around of them talking about like get asked a question about in their uniforms or something, and Pedro's like, yeah, we all look really good, and she's like, no, you look really good. He's like, no, we all look. She's like, no, you look really good. Like that was going around too. So for people that are like, oh, Pedro's being a creep, I think I hate Pedro Pascal as well, but I think people are blowing that out of proportion.
He's a commie moron.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a fucking retard. But, but I also do like him in some things.
Commie, retard, same thing. The one guy for $9.99. Theo James for Dr. Doom. Well, maybe in the future, you never know. What about Leslie Jones? That's what I'm holding out for. Manuel for €5. Out of topic. Every film of Zack Snyder looks like it has child support in slow motion. There you go.
Oh. No.
Okay. VJ the Vigilant for $4.99. So the Snyder Cut is just like turning Street Fighter into Mortal Kombat. There you go. Jason Yankovic for $10 says MCU has Downey syndrome. Also, RIP Battlestar Galactica reboot. Yeah, fucking good. Good. Sam Esmail would have fucked that thing up 5 ways to Sunday. There was rumors that Starbuck was going to be non-binary. It was going to take place in Ronald D. Moore's universe. How the fuck do you do that? And the last thing Sam Esmail did, was with that Obama movie on Netflix.
Leave the World Behind.
Leave the World Behind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, did you hear the evolution of Starbuck? Because initially they cast a black female to play Starbuck.
Yes.
She left, and that's when they moved to a non-binary.
Character. Yeah.
It's like, good Lord. It's like they have to keep escalating.
They do.
Higher up the stack.
Yeah. They can never go back. They will never
No.
make him, but like the original, a man.
They used to fly like 2-3 years ago. Not anymore. Now you just go to the canceled heap.
You know, it'd work. Adapt the original TV show, but I mean, in a different universe, not in our reality. But
make it like a retro futurism thing where it's like the costumes are kind of
dude,
more retro.
All the lore from
that
Battlestar
stuff.
is fucking awesome. It's ancient alien lore. It's Egyptian, Greek. It's fucking cool as hell.
It's Mormons in space.
That's what it is. You
Yes,
can
it
thank
is.
us for giving you Battlestar Galactica. We also brought you other things as well.
Really, like J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay,
like Twilight.
Brandon Sanderson.
Brandon Sanderson.
We don't talk about them.
I'll take
Dragonlance.
I like
Dragonlance. Ender's Game. Okay.
all the Mormons on the yard going, we don't claim them. Zorbu has gifted 5 Nerdrotic memberships for $25. Thank you, Zorbu. Emilio has gifted 5 Nerdrotic memberships for $25. Thank you. And Bo Edwards has gifted 5 Nerdrotic memberships for $25. Rebel Moon, sorry, Mahler. Rebel Moon. One woman beats up 40 men the Olympics, watch 2 men beat up all the women. From DJ the Vigilant for $4.99. You get an applause for that one. She beats up a lot of dudes who are really bad at shooting, but and not very good at raping either, apparently. So, Simon Ho for 2 Canadian. Should I tell the joke that my wife told last night? It was bad.
Maybe on the other app.
On Rumble. Remind me to tell, dude, I was like, I respect for that joke, man. But like, holy shit. We were watching The Dead Don't Hurt, the Viggo Mortensen Western fucking movie that was
the new one, right?
Yeah, it's not good. It is not fucking good. It starts out like a real Western and you're like, let's fucking go. And then it turns into a straight up fucking art house film with like different timelines and craziness. And you're like, oh shit.
Well, okay then.
Yeah. So don't waste your time with it. Don't waste your time with it. Simon Ho for 2 Canadian pesos. Oh my God. It looks like Bat Velma. Yes. This is the Velma of Batman. Maybe not as cringe as Velma, but as hateful to the source material as possible. The only thing where they dialed back is they didn't fuck with Batman. Like the guy who's voicing Batman and the look of Batman is fine. Like no problem with it. And Catwoman actually looks pretty good too.
Still gives me the similar headache right behind the eyes, you know?
Yeah, but out of the first 4 episodes, far more happens in Velma than this show. Like this show is really slow.
What's your cringe per second ratio is, or cringe per minute? We'll say cringe per minute ratio in Velma is much higher than it is in Batman.
Yeah, Velma is far more like Time Bandits, where it's literally every line there's something wrong with it. You can't focus on one because they hit you with the next one.
That's an official term now. Your CPM. So your show has to have a certain amount of CPM to do a video on it. And it certainly was like at the Acolyte's CPM was much higher than Obi-Wan. Like Obi-Wan is still bad, but Acolyte's cringe per minute, pretty fucking horrible. Way more memeable.
Oh, yeah.
Need a graph.
We do need a graph. JD Music for 5 Canadian pesos. I was entertained by Crusader despite the woke. Shouldn't the show be almost a middle finger to woke characters plus bad stories? I'm a huge noir fan. That wasn't noir though. That was not noir. It tried to be 30s. It tried to look like it.
The only thing that's noir is like the opening title sequence.
Yes.
That's the only thing that I only watched first episode, but that's the only thing that felt that way to me. It was almost a shock when that came on because I didn't know that's the vibe
they try to be noir, but they don't ever quite.
Well, they make Clayface look like the Shadow.
Yeah. And
there is the Golden Age Clayface who was an actor. Wasn't like the modern for sure, but yeah, dude,
I can't overlook.
It's
a
not
penguin
noir.
that has tits.
No, noir is so much more than just some lighting. Okay, go watch Razor Fist has a lot of good videos on that. It's so much more, and the dialogue is modernity, pure modernity. It's garbage. Go back and watch Batman the Animated Series. Maybe it's been a minute.
Much better
since you watched it. Yeah, it's
still good.
Still fucking great.
Holds up, man. Holds up.
So good.
Lobo with an umlaut, so I don't know if I pronounced it right. $4.99. The Robin cameos was the only thing that was neat from the show. Not even the last shot of the finale made it worth wanting more. Piss off, Jar Jar. Yep. CP Kearney for $4.99. Hail, did anyone watch the Batman podcast radio show on Max? Really funny and good voice casting.
No. Video show?
No, there was a podcast. I remember that, but no, I haven't checked it out. Albert Not a Retro for 5 Canadian pesos. What do you want to bet that Ironheart wins the day in Avengers Doomsday and beats Tony Von Doom Stark? If it was the MCU of 2-3 years ago, I would absolutely expect it. Remember, Ironheart, Riri Williams was set to replace Tony Stark in the comic books.
Didn't last very long.
Did not last very long, but that was their intention.
Yes. Much like with Falcon Cap.
They intended her to be the Miles Morales of Iron Man at the very least. and she turned into the Miles Morales of Iron Man. Samuel Ospina for $4.99. I hunted for Toby. Oops. I mean, the Acolyte positive reviews, and I just can't find them. Wonder why. Hail. Love you guys. Hail to you. I hunted, Rob. Is that clip ready? No?
Hunted.
It's a bit like hunting for
It is a
Rebel
little
Moon
bit.
director's cuts. Good reviews. Like when Collider is coming out and saying they don't like your
Oh,
stuff,
yeah. What was that headline?
I
again?
hunted, Rob. I hunted for Tobey Maguire's dick.
What did that headline say on Collider again?
Rebel Moon director's cut review. Somehow Zack Snyder's Netflix movies got worse.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
It's not like it's a difficult task. I mean, come on, let's be honest.
Jacob Wolf for $5. Didn't DC just learn their lesson from gender swapping villains like lesbian Miss Freeze in the Suicide Squad game? Do they not like money anymore? Well, this is a lot of leftover shit prior to James Gunn. So
yeah, and also the idea that a bad video game came out 2 months ago and a series that's been like probably ready to go and being edited for months and months and months would be able to change on a dime.
This is the thing is though, they were doing it for money. It was the investor kind of stipulations through the ESG and stuff like that. That you need certain tick boxes to get the investor money, and so that's what drove a lot of it.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about this in the bonus hour that's coming up very, very soon. But Hollywood takes 2 to 3 years to react to shit, and that's going to be a big problem for them going ahead, to the point where people are starting to have mental breakdowns in Hollywood over it. SP of the North for $4.99. Quiet bigots. Blackton America is going to make the MCU relevant again. Not according to people who work at Marvel. Eric K for $1. Thank you, Eric K. Jesus Davila has gifted 1 Nerdrotic membership for $5, and Tet has gifted 1 Nerdrotic membership for $5, and that wraps it up for the YouTube portion of this show. We're gonna head on over to the Green app right now. So thanks everyone for joining. Thanks, Mahler.
No problem. Am I not welcome?
You're welcome. Yes. No, we're saying goodbye to
the YouTube audience.
Saying goodbye to YouTube. No. The only one not welcome.
I mean, I could go if you want me.
No. The only one that's not welcome.
Okay.
The only one that's not welcome is Chrissy. Get out of here. Oh, she's already left. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So yeah, if you want a bonus hour, hop on over to the Green app. In the meantime, ciao, YouTube. See you next week.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Bye-bye.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Dame, dame.